battered and exhausted, but you don't hurt like this if you don't care about this team, about this country, about this game.
I think you can feel the intensity.
The goals, the energy, wow, look at us.
Here in the U.S., I have got some news for you. There's so much more to come. My name is Megan Klingberg, and we're just getting started.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
25 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
One last look at your traffic and weather for your ride in on this Tuesday morning. One accident to report. It's going to be Hardscrabble Road and Summit Parkway, and that's it. So hopefully it stays that clear for the rest of the morning. As far as weather goes, high up to 97 today with a chance for an isolated thunderstorm later. And then tomorrow, 96 with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Currently 77 here in downtown Columbia on the Game.
And the kick is good!
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Nine o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri along with you here on the Game. Maybe getting caught in a little bit of school traffic this morning, but regardless, we're here. We're excited. 25 days until kickoff. Week rolling along. Beamer talks today at 1 o'clock, kind of getting things back to normal for what football season is. And, hey, we're going to hear from him every Tuesday from now, basically through the end of November with the exception of a bye week. And yeah, it's just another example of us getting closer to football season, things falling into rhythm.
25 days? Is that
25
right?
days.
25 days.
How was school traffic this morning?
It was a little bit busy on the roads this morning. It was partially on me for not getting on the road till 8:30, but yeah, there was a little bit of traffic on the way in, and then you're just dealing with people that are too slow driving. They don't know what they're doing. That's par for the course. That's the New York in me coming out when I'm on the roads. I'm like, I need to get moving here, guys. Like, let's put down our phones. Let's get moving.
Without fail, when you're inevitably a couple minutes behind, like leaving when you wanted to or whatever, you're going to get behind the slowest person on earth.
Oh, yeah. Right before I think I was on Gervais, and I had this big white SUV cut in front of me. And then, of course, when I'm making a left, they're making a left. And so I was behind them for a few seconds. And then they don't put their blinker on until the last second. So, yeah, that was, I was thinking about that stuff the entire time. Like, this has to happen. This has to happen. So, but yeah, I'm surprised. I texted you. I was like, I don't know, man.
Still made a good time.
I made a pretty good time. I got into the garage at like 8:57. I'm like, oh, it's only 8:58. Okay. And then I was like, oh, you know what, though? All the spots on the third level are going to be taken for the guest parking spots, and no one was there.
Wow!
So it worked. It worked out well because I was fully anticipating having to go up a few more floors, but it worked out really well and got in here right as you started speaking at 9. So glad to be here.
Now, when you're in traffic or somebody's aggravating you, are you a gesture person? Are you like
to myself?
To yourself?
Yeah, I'll throw my hand up, but it's not like. Yeah, I'm not, yelling. Well, to myself again. Yeah, like I try to keep the potential of road rage contained.
No horn honking.
Depends. If there's someone that deserves to get honked at, yeah, I'm gonna honk. Like, if you're not paying attention at the light and it's our turn to go and you don't go for like 5 seconds, yeah, I'm honking at you. If there's an idiot that's doing something that they shouldn't be doing in front of me, then yeah, I'm going to honk. But beyond that, no, I'm not really. I haven't honked in a while, actually. I used to honk a lot, but there were a lot of reasons why I would honk because of stuff that I just described there. So I guess that hasn't happened lately, which is actually probably a good thing.
Well, South Carolina has a lot of things, and many bad drivers is one of them.
Yeah, and not so great roads, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, you know what bugs me the most is the interchanges. With when you go from like 26 to 20,
yeah,
and it's like, all right, you have like 200 feet for you to get on 20 and other people to get on 26.
Malfunction Junction, man.
You're just playing chicken with people at that point.
It is a disaster. It's a Malfunction Junction for a reason, man. It is so bad over there. Like, yeah, I was going that way yesterday. It was just so ridiculous having to cut off to get to, like, the exit that goes to Florence. Like, it's just so, But it's brutal. But we're here. We're good. Ready to talk some sports, Gamecock football. 25 days away. How many days are we away from week 0, by the way?
So to week 0,
so 29th, 18?
18 days. Yep.
Let's go.
Subtract 7 every single time.
All right.
So
18 days, baby.
Yeah. By the way, our summer golf classic will be the 28th, so the day before week 0. It's kind of that's our start to football season once we have the summer golf event, and then week 0 is the next day, and then we're rocking and rolling until for college football, late January, for all of football, mid-February, because the Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day this year.
Yeah, and we're getting preseason games this weekend, which is great. The full actual slate, which is awesome. Hard Knocks tonight.
Yep.
I started the first episode the other day. I got probably about halfway through. I was watching it last Friday. I need to finish it, but it's pretty good so far, man. So it is starting to feel like football is getting here, and like you said, the schedule today with Beamer talking every Tuesday now moving forward. We're going to hear from offensive players today. We'll hear from defense tomorrow. No coordinators tomorrow, but typically on Wednesdays we'll hear from coordinators. So it's starting to get back into rhythm for sure.
We don't know what players are speaking today?
No. You know how it goes, man. We request players, and then it's kind of just if they can get them, they can get them. If not, So we'll see. I'm trying to.
We'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll report back tomorrow with how many players I actually ended up. I think I requested 8 different players, 4 on offense, 4 on defense, because they're all going in one shot today, or the next 2 days. So we'll see how many I can get.
Okay, well, again, that's coming up today at 1. We'll have that for you right here on the Game with Beamer speaking. 25 days away from the season getting started. Again, last week we had the coaches' top 25 that got revealed. We should be getting pretty close to the AP Top 25. I don't remember what exact day it came out a year ago, but I believe Scott told me that they had to submit their ballots at the end of last week, so any day now, I would assume.
Did he put South Carolina at, like, number 1? I'm kidding.
He did not. There's going to be, there's like 70-some-odd voters or something like that for the AP poll, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to put Carolina in their top 25. Somebody's probably going to have them ranked higher than they probably should be. Again, the coaches poll, which, again, you take even less seriously, had them 30th, technically speaking, with those receiving votes. So them being in the top 25, I'm not expecting it, but there'll be a couple of people that'll probably put them in there just on what they think they're going to be alone.
Yeah, so pretty fitting with it being 25 days away. AP poll, top 25, whenever that eventually does come out. Imagine it's just like later on today, it just comes out. That would be very coincidental. For me, I don't think they're going to be ranked, quite honestly. Do I think, like what you said, like when we see the usual post on Twitter or whatever every single week of the full list of who voted where in the AP poll, I could see South Carolina getting a few votes. Like they'll be at the bottom with others getting a few votes, but I don't expect them to be in the top 25. You got to go out there and prove it. They don't deserve to be ranked in the preseason poll after a 4-8 season.
Right.
Yeah, they've had a good offseason, I think. Yeah, they've made a lot of improvements, but at the end of the day, you got to go show it on the field. And honestly, I think I'd prefer them not to be ranked heading into the year because it's less of having like a target on your back or added pressure. It's like, unranked, you can kind of fly under the radar a little bit and gain everyone's respect over time, which I think is when we see South Carolina typically do its best.
So in the Beamer era, he's coached 63 games here at South Carolina, 33-30 record as of right now. Only 9 of those games they've played as a ranked team, and overall their record as a ranked team is 5-4. But 2 of those wins came against Wofford 2 years ago during the 6-game win streak, and then South Carolina State last year when they were the number 10 team in the country. So you take those out, they're 3-4 against Power 4 opponents as a ranked team, which kind of plays into the narrative that we talk about so much with Beamer teams being better when people are overlooking them, because when you kind of set those expectations, more often than not, they're usually not winning those games.
Yeah, so I think that it just makes more sense, for South Carolina to, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the voters, but, I think it makes more sense for South Carolina to go into the year unranked, given the year they had last year. And that's what a lot of this is going to be based off of, because at the end of the day, we only know so much about these teams. The people that are voting will know about the teams that they cover and whatnot, and if it's more national folks, they'll know about a lot of different teams. At the end of the day, we don't know what South Carolina is going to be going into the year. We don't know what Clemson or LSU or Ohio State, we don't know what is going to come out for those teams heading into the year. I feel like we have a pretty good idea, which is why they'll be ranked where they are. So for South Carolina, I think it just makes a lot of sense that they would be unranked heading into the year. I'll be surprised if they end up in the top 25. But, I will say this, though, Tyler, speaking of Clemson, I am interested. Does Clemson make the top 25?
They shouldn't.
But, again, the theory, man, they get ranked in the coaches poll. They play in LSU week 1. College game, they're going to be in town in Baton Rouge. Night game, ABC. I think we need a ranked-unranked matchup. So, hey, Clemson, put them at 25. That wouldn't surprise me. You see Clemson in the rankings at like 24, 25. Even if they shouldn't be, I don't think they should be, but I think they're going to be, just to propel the TV ratings a little bit and gauge more interest in that first weekend game.
Well, if that is the case, if they get ranked 23rd or 24th or something like that, then they lose that game. They should immediately be kicked out.
Oh,
right?
yeah, 100%.
LSU is going to be somewhere around the top 10, I would imagine. So, yeah, losing that game, even if it is a tight game, all right, you've had your fun. We'll bounce you out now. I very much like, last year with Ohio State and Texas being, 1 and 2, I think, going into that week 1 matchup. I think there was a lot of, hey, we got a chance to really make this special by billing it this way. I think that went into a lot of the way people voted a season ago. Now, not to say that Texas and Ohio State didn't deserve to be highly ranked because of what they had done the season prior, but I do think there's some of that element baked in there. I'd have to look at how many people vote in the AP poll that are directly tied in with like ESPN and stuff like that. But yeah, I could see that being a situation where saying, hey, kind of a lighter week 1 this year. We got a marquee matchup on Saturday night. Let's at least make this more compelling with it being ranked versus ranked.
Who do we think the consensus number 1 is going to be?
Probably Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, and it's kind of one of those things, like Ohio State's always going to be good, right? If you tell me you're going to vote Ohio State number 1 every year for the next 5 years in the preseason poll, you're probably not far off, right? Are they the most deserving team to be number 1? I don't know. That's debatable. And again, so much changes with these teams in the offseason. It's tough to say, but that's a pretty safe option if you don't know who to pick.
Yeah, I would say it's either them or probably like Texas, I think, is going to get some first-place votes. But I agree. I would say Ohio State's probably going to be number 1 in the poll heading into the year. Just makes a lot of sense. And honestly, maybe we see a little bit of the same thing we saw last year where it's a 1 versus 2 matchup in week 2 out in Austin when Ohio State and Texas play the return game in at Texas. So, yeah, I think that could make a lot of sense.
I'd love to know, and again, there's so many AP poll voters, you can't get this answer out of all of them, but I'd love to know what people's thought process is for the preseason poll. Are you projecting what you think it's going to look like at the end of the season? Are you projecting how good everybody's offseason was? Are you evaluating just the roster alone? Are you really taking into account what you did last year? I think there's a lot of different ways to attack it that I think everybody's going to have kind of their own mix of how they view it, which is why we could end up with some surprises in the top 25.
Yeah, I don't think it should be based on what they think is going to happen at the end of the year. I think that's a wrong way to look at it. I think part of it is probably going to be based on how last year went. And then the other part of it probably is just, who are the best teams heading into the season, right? I think it's just as simple as that, of figuring out, okay, who has made improvements this offseason. Some of it may be based off the coaches poll, in all honesty. I can definitely see some similarities happening there. But end of the day, I think a lot of it is just going to be – it's going to be a crapshoot, honestly. And I'm interested to see where these teams are ranked.
Again, we'll find out about that AP poll here probably pretty soon. Obviously, react to it when it does come out. But speaking of thinking, a lot of anonymous coaches gave what they thought of quarterbacks across college football, particularly in the SEC. We'll let you hear what they had to say about Lenore Sellers coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Tuesday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Summer Golf Classic is coming Friday, August 28th at Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The golf gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, lots of free stuff. And you can win Gamecocks football tickets. $440 a foursome. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event on Friday, August 28th. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Give them a call today at 803-677-1500 to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of special extras like flexible visits, added discounts, as well as priority scheduling. AAA Heating and Air also offers indoor air quality products that work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens, pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. So go to call AAAtoday.com for more info. Call 3Astoday.com for more info. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you on over.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor, call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Mount Valley Foundation Services is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
Here in South Carolina, we have more. More industries, more employers, and more jobs than ever before. With SC Works, you can strive for more with programs, trainings, and resources to grow your career, all at no cost to you. Learn more at scworks.org.
Sponsored by SC Works, a proud partner of the American Jobs Center Network, an equal opportunity employer/program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. For program funding details and compliance with the Stevens Amendment, please visit www.do.sc.gov/funding.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on. Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Come on.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
Hey guys, Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central here to make sure your business and property parking lots are kept available from any unwanted cars taking up your spots with Schroeder's Towing. For instance, you're coming in hot to the game studios for your show and you park next door in an unauthorized lot with signage that was provided for free from Schroeder's Towing. Next thing you know, the show is in the books and your car is out of the lot. It really is that simple. That's a true story. Call Schroeder's today and keep those unwanted cars out of your lots. Online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Vista Roofing, your local CertainTeed Select Shingle Master. Looking for a roof that's built to last? Trust the certified experts at Vista Roofing for professional installation, top-tier materials, and peace of mind backed by industry-leading warranties. From repairs to full replacements, Vista Roofing delivers durable results and exceptional service. Call now or visit VistaRoofingINC.com to schedule your free estimate. Vista Roofing, raising the standard one shingle at a time. Don't miss this sweet deal from Lakeside Seafood and Steak. Beginning this Friday at 9 a.m., visit 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals to get a $50 gift certificate to Lakeside Seafood and Steak for just $25. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. Extra Point, Tyler Head and Jack Veltri here on the Game. There are annual articles that come out across the football offseason that I always find really interesting. And one of them is Adam Rittenberg every single year puts out a coach's anonymous takes on, I think he does quarterbacks, and I believe he does coaches as well, like coaches talking about other coaches. And yesterday, he put out his article for intel on top quarterbacks across college football. It's not all of them. It's 43 quarterbacks, mainly across the Power 4 conferences. And Lenore Sellers is included in this article where a couple of anonymous coaches weighed in and gave their thoughts. An SEC defensive coordinator said of Sellers, he really struggles to process in the middle of the game. When you move him around or you move things around on him, he just really struggles. But I think Kendall's system, if Kendall can be like, hey, you do this or you do that, this, or take off running, if he can get him to do that, I think the kid could be scary. He's so hard to bring down. A different SEC coordinator, a defensive coordinator, said Kendall will make it a little bit more friendly. He's not going to force him to be something he's not, which I felt like at times he was last year. They've got to try to win games. You're not a pocket passer. The best thing you do is take off and run because no one can tackle you. Two different coordinators in the SEC basically saying the exact same thing about Lenore Sellers that, quite frankly, I think they're pretty spot on about.
No, I agree. When I think of Lenore Sellers, I don't think of traditional pocket passer at all. I think of guy that has a God-given talent with those legs and the ability to the underlying factor being a guy that can literally just break out of like multiple tackles at once. It's wild to see 2 years ago just how good he was consistently at breaking out of tackles that most quarterbacks, they just end up sliding. But with Lenore's, it's like he's got the ability to pick up extra yardage because of his size and mass, and just he's a hard guy to bring down, as these guys know. So, yeah, I mean, I think I agree with a lot of what they're saying there. He's got a lot of room to grow. And I think look, last year, a lot of the issues did stem from play calling and the offensive line play and not having a great run game behind him. But also at the same time, like, he didn't play his best either. So as much as it was about those other factors, he didn't play his best at times as well. So I think getting back to being the guy that he was 2 years ago, I think Kendall Briles is going to be able to help with that. And yeah, you gotta let him be the guy that does take off and run at times and does break out of tackles and get that confidence back up, because when he's doing that, that's when he's at his best.
Well, and this goes back to something that we've talked about so much, and, we got into, I think, a little bit yesterday talking about some of the Beamer quotes about the offense, that it just seemed like he was thinking too much a year ago. And I know every time Shula got asked about it, or Beamer or Sellers or whatever, they downplayed that, last year's offense was trying to prepare him for the NFL or trying to turn him into a more of an NFL quarterback. But you can understand why people drew those assumptions, because he wasn't going out there playing like he played the season before. It looked like he was trying to become a better pocket passer, or if that was Shula's objective for him or whatever it may be. And as the second, defensive coordinator said, you're not a pocket passer. The best thing you can do is take off and run, because no one can tackle you. And we saw immediately in that bowl game against Illinois a couple of years ago, the first game that Shula was calling plays, it's like, they weren't. And, yeah, Illinois was spying on Lenore Sellers, so that had something to do with it. But it just didn't feel like they were trying to put the ball in his hands as much as they had with Loggins, where they were having so much success down the stretch of the back half of the regular season.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, the key is just getting back to being that guy. And I think there are ways that Kendall can help him take the next step forward. The point about him not being a pocket passer from the second defensive coordinator, where he literally says you're not a pocket passer. Some truth to that, I think, for sure. But I think Lenore's has a pretty decent arm. Like, we've seen him connect on some pretty deep balls with Nick Harbor before. So I think he can get the ball downfield. But accuracy, I think there's still improvement to be made there. The big thing for me that I think we've talked about all offseason is just simply the decision-making of being better when the pressure is coming at you. Because, look, the offensive line is going to get up sacks this year. That's par for the course with any offensive line in America. It's just South Carolina has given up more sacks than most teams in the country usually have. If they can cut the number down, great, but there's still going to be pressure at times. The key for Lenore's is just knowing what to do when that pressure does come. Take off and run, feel comfortable throwing the ball downfield, check down to an open target that's right in front of you. It could be a running back that just turns around and gets open, 10 yards in front of you. It could be a wide receiver cutting. I mean, there's a lot of decisions. Or just throw the ball away. If you feel you don't have a play, just throw it away. You got three other downs potentially to work with on any given drive.
This right before the second coordinator said you're not a pocket passer, he says they've got to try to win games. And this goes back to something you and I have talked about so much this offseason. And look, I think Lenore Sellers has the opportunity to have a successful career at the next level, and I certainly hope that that's the case. And we're talking about him being a great NFL quarterback for years and years to come. None of that matters right now. There's not a soul in this fan base that cares anything about what Lenore Sellers is going to do at the next level, where he's going to get drafted and all that kind of stuff. You had a good enough season, that's going to take care of itself. And you can let, whatever team drafts him worry about him being a better pocket passer and all that kind of stuff. All that matters is what's happening in 2026. Nothing past right now. The Clemson game at the end of November matters, right? Because if you don't have a good enough season, most of those guys are going to leave for the NFL anyway. You're maybe looking at a new head coach and new staff and all that kind of stuff. You have to win now, which, again, is why the Kendall Briles hire is so well thought of, not only here locally in South Carolina, but across the country, because people look at that and say, okay, now you finally got a guy that should be able to get the best out of Lenore Sellers' skill set and an offense that should play to his strengths.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, nobody should be, no one, including Sellers, should be focused on the next level yet. He hasn't even gotten there yet, right? So when that time comes, like you said, Tyler, it'll take care of itself if he goes out here and has a good season, right? If he doesn't have a good season, doesn't guarantee anything, right? He could be picked later, or he can go undrafted. I mean, or I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody will take him just based off the sheer potential and talent. Like, some NFL team is probably, really wanting to work with him at that next level. But look, this year he's got to have a better season, right? If South Carolina is going to be better this year, Lenore Sellers is going to have to be better as well. I think those things kind of just go hand in hand.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, these two coordinators, very honest in their assessments of Sellers, but kind of saying the same things of like, hey, this Briles offense should fit him a lot better. Just go out there and play ball, be yourself, be an athlete, and again, get back to that form you were 2 years ago in South Carolina. Should hopefully have a lot of success. Sellers wasn't the only quarterback that got talked about. A lot in the SEC with some honest assessments as well as around college football. We'll hit some of those coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry on your Tuesday on The Game.
It's 2026 SEC Media Days.
And The Game was there all week.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think if you look across college football specifically, but college athletics, the best teams, in my opinion, year in, year out, are the oldest teams.
On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Heartburn. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing is worse than heartburn after a long day. When you're finally off the clock, dinner's done, feet kicked up, kids asleep, and boom, heartburn tries to steal the moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. The effervescent tablets start neutralizing acid in seconds, so you can sit back, relax, and unwind from your day. Next time heartburn hits,
Quick, Alka-Seltzer.
use as directed.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At Cumulus Digital, we know that when it comes to marketing your business, local matters. No one understands this community better than the experts who actually live and work here. With Cumulus Digital, you get local insight backed by a national team of digital marketing experts that support thousands of businesses every month. It's local expertise with proven national experience. So visit cumulusdigital.com, fill out a short form, and let's get started.
At Herndon Chevrolet, there's no need to wait a week for service. Our full team of technicians is ready to get your vehicle checked the same day. From oil changes to major repairs, we're here to keep you moving with expert care you can count on every time. Fast appointments, trusted repairs, convenient service, and a friendly team ready to help you. Only at Herndon Chevrolet.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Life matters. My son was confused. He heard someone dejectedly report that they had been given the sack. I explained that the man had just lost his job. This brought only partial clarity to my son, so I explained that in the days when most craftsmen lived on the job, the custom was to bring your tools in a sack and deliver both the sack and the tools to the employer for safekeeping. When the worker was discharged, his employer returned his sack of tools, thereby giving him the sack. Concerned for my welfare, he asked if God ever gave pastors the sack. Well, I said pastors can lose their jobs just like anyone else. But the good news for all of us is that God never gives us the sack. If we believe in Jesus, He'll always hold us close, and we can never be snatched out of His hands. This is Stephen Chitty, pastor of Christian Life on Bush River Road in Columbia. Visit us on the web at ChristianLifeColumbia.com, and remember, life matters, and so do you.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Feltry from Gamecock Central on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Feltry with you here on your Tuesday on the Game. Reminder, the Game's Summer Golf Classic at Charwood, presented by 107.5 The Game and the Lexington County Gamecock Club, coming up Friday, August 28th, 9:30 a.m. start. We're, of course, going to have the famous Gamecock Club onion sausages for breakfast, libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits, and the golf gun returns as well, with all proceeds going to Camp Discovery. If you want to take part, it's $440 for a foursome, $110 for a single player. Give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000. Hit number 2 to sign up for the Game's Summer Golf Classic. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you out there coming up on August the 28th. So we're looking at the article by Adam Rittenberg yesterday on ESPN, where he got anonymous coaches to give their honest thoughts on quarterbacks across college football. And again, we're not going to have time to get to all these, but want to hit some of the high points, particularly in the SEC, after we talked about Lenore Sellers there a second ago. It goes without saying, and we can get in the conversation of the face of college football a little bit more tomorrow, because there is a Kirk Herbstreit quote that I want to get into. But there's no doubt, like, the biggest name in college football is still Arch Manning, right? Will we agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so. I think he's one of the biggest names, probably top 5 biggest names.
And he went into last year with just insane expectations being placed on his shoulders because of the family that he comes from, and got out of the gate a little bit rocky, didn't have his best game against Ohio State, had some ups and downs, but eventually settled in and started playing some good football towards the end of last year. And there's a lot of expectations and hopes that he's going to be having a much better second full year as a start of this upcoming season. Anonymous coaches said this about Arch Manning to Adam Rittenberg: he's handled this situation better than anybody possibly could. The expectations aren't fair, so personally I hope he has a great year. Hopefully he has an off game against us. Again, we don't know what coach said that. And then a defensive coordinator says he can absolutely rip it. Like velocity, accuracy, he got a little bit out of whack and made some mistakes, and then people were really defending him. It's going to be really easy this year because people are going to have to double Cam Coleman. He's a real one, and so is Wingo, and it's like you can't double both of them. So, mentioning what he's going to have to complement him at wide receiver for him to be able to throw to this year is certainly going to help him out. But as I mentioned, he got a whole lot better as the season went along. The hype train for him had kind of died down at that point because it was clear that he wasn't going to win the Heisman or something like that. But he finally rounded into form, which, hey, guess what? Most quarterbacks, when they start their first year in the SEC, typically do that.
I was about to say, I mean, he played, I think, number one, and one of the unnamed coaches put it like this, like, he's handled this situation better than anyone could possibly do. The expectations aren't fair. So personally, I hope he has a great year. I agree. Like, I think the expectations were just, if he didn't have the Manning name, well, number one, would he be in the position that he is? Probably, because I think he's a good football player.
Sure.
But if he didn't have the Manning name, if he just had any other name, he would have the same amount of expectations and pressure as any quarterback in this conference, right? It would not be – it's elevated because he's a Manning, right? And there's weight that comes with that name alone. Now, at the time, he didn't have a lot of starting experience, right, entering last year, and he struggled a little bit out of the gate, had 3 interceptions in his first 3 games. He had 2 more against Florida. So, I mean, he had 5 within the first 5 games of the year. And then after that, only threw 2 more interceptions the rest of the year. Looked a lot more comfortable out there. Played pretty well down the stretch. I mean, he showed some flashes of being a really good player. And by the end of the year, threw for over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. If he can just play the way he did in those final 7 games, or 8 games, I should say, with the bowl game, and do that the entire year, I think he could have a really good season and honestly contend for, being in New York for the Heisman ceremony. I think the big thing now is that he's got a year of starting experience under his belt. How do we feel about the expectations? Are they the same as last year? Are they a little dialed down? I think they're still pretty high, though, just because he is a Manning after all.
Sure. I think they've dialed down a little bit because Arch Mania was a real thing last year. And I give Arch Manning credit because he's taken it all in stride. And he's never once, said, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He's out there obviously trying his best. But at Media Days a year ago, he even said, like, hey, I don't deserve the hype that I'm getting. I haven't done anything yet in my college career. But when you're a polarizing figure that comes from a family like that, people are going to set these expectations for you. But in terms of the buzz that he's gotten this offseason, I think it's dialed down a little bit. People still expect him to be really, really good. But I don't think it's like, all right, he's being anointed as the Heisman favorite before the season starts, that Texas is definitely going to go win a national championship because of him. And those things could end up being true if he plays well enough this year. But I don't feel like there's as much being placed on his shoulders going into year number 2 as year number 1.
Now, another player, not in the SEC, but another player at a big-time school that is getting a lot of those same expectations and pressure. Granted, probably not the same, but I feel like heading into last year, there was a lot of weight and expectations on Bryce Underwood, the quarterback at Michigan.
Yep.
And reading some of the quotes from these different coaches, I think is very intriguing, Tyler.
Yeah, one Big Ten defense coordinator said the only reason there's mixed reviews, they're not talking about him still being young, is because the expectations coming out of recruiting. We've really put a bullseye on a lot of these kids because of the exorbitant amount they're paying them, which they paid him a lot to go to Michigan, originally committed to LSU. One coach said, I'm not impressed. He just misses and misses. He's tall, so he's able to make certain plays that other guys can't, and he's big, so he can run, but I don't see him as someone that's dangerous. He's a guy who can lose you some games. And then that same coach went on to say he's a good head. That's about Kyle Whittingham. Never mind. Those are the two quotes there about Bryce Underwood, and very similarly to Arch Manning, like you said, here's a guy that came in, got paid a ton of money to come into a blue blood program like Michigan and fix their quarterback issues. Because let's think about it. Even back to the national championship year, J.J. McCarthy wasn't really that great. They had a great defense. They had a great running game with guys like Blake Corum. They haven't had special quarterback play in a very, very long time. So much like Arch Manning had the expectations of bringing Texas back to the glory of winning a national championship and Heisman trophies, the same thing was kind of done to Bryce Underwood to a slightly lesser degree of like, hey, we haven't had great quarterback play at Michigan in a while. You're going to be the guy, and that's where we're paying you, like $8 million to do this?
Yeah. Don't forget about Donovan Edwards in that Michigan run game as well.
Yeah.
The other quote there that I think was probably honestly more interesting was that there was another opposing coach that doesn't think Kyle Whittingham is best equipped to boost Underwood's play. And the quote reads, quote, he's a good head coach, but in 21 years, they haven't had a quarterback draft, the coach said. Just because you pay somebody money doesn't make them good. There's going to be a little reality check on that. And I agree. Just because you paid him as much as you did, what was it, like $2 million per season or something? Like, just because you're paying him all this money does not automatically mean money does not buy success. Right? You have to be good at your job. You have to be able, as a coach, you got to be able to develop these guys. That's why, look, you see all these $40 million rosters out there. I'll be interested to see how many of them actually go deep into the playoff and have a lot of success and whatnot. Because, if they do, then I think spending is maybe going to increase. But then maybe you see a team or two in there that doesn't spend that much money, and they are going into the playoff and they're making a deep run. But that's besides the point. So this is about Underwood.
Yeah,
he was disappointing last year. I mean, look, freshman year, whatever, say what you will, but 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, under 2,500 passing yards. Not anything that screams really good player right there.
Yeah.
Not what you expect coming out of high school, paying him all that money. And I think those are unfair expectations to have on a kid year one. But when you're paying the guy that much, I think it's fair. If I'm a Michigan fan, yeah, I'd want to see this guy be great right out of the gate. But we all know there's going to be freshman hiccups that you go through and whatnot. This year is very important for Underwood because if it's another so-so lackluster kind of year, I honestly wonder what Michigan does heading into next season.
Yeah, and that is a really good point the other anonymous coach brought up in terms of Whittingham never having any kind of truly great quarterbacks at Utah that ended up getting drafted and going on to success in the NFL. And, Bryce Underwood, I don't know. I saw enough of him last year that maybe it was just a freshman year thing, and maybe he could take a big step forward in year number 2. But there's a lot of investment in him, and that's the funny thing now about where we're at in college sports, where in years past, yeah, any 5-star quarterback was going to be hyped up, and hey, this guy's the future of the offense of whatever school he's going to. And if he ends up flaming out, you say, okay, that sucks. He ended up kind of being a bust, but we're just going to move on to the next guy. Now you're talking about a guy like Bryce Underwood. Like, let's say he gets halfway through the season and he's not playing great, and they need to bench him. Well, you're still got $2 million or so wrapped up in him annually. That's severely hurting your overall budget and not seeing the field. Like, there's so many layers to this now when these guys don't end up working out. And again, I understand why schools pay these guys so much money, because for the most part, that's the only reason they're going to come to you out of high school compared to, the other schools out there that are pursuing them. And Michigan won this lottery, but if it doesn't end up working out, you end up wasting a lot of money in the process.
It is going to be interesting to see how long the leash is for Underwood, because, you're paying him all this money, but Kyle Whittingham did not recruit him. Right, this is not the quarterback that he brought in. He's just there when Whittingham got there. So, if he's not playing well out of the gate, again, Michigan's going to get tested right away. Like, they got Oklahoma coming into the Big House week 2. So if he is struggling that game, I kind of wonder, does Whittingham make an adjustment? Does he bring someone else in to play quarterback? I mean, you're paying him all this money, but at the end of the day, Whittingham does not have any allegiance to him because he did not recruit him coming out of high school. So, it's going to be interesting to see. I think because you do pay him all this money, you got to give him a little bit of a longer leash to figure things out. But if he is just not playing well in these first 2-3 games, it wouldn't shock me at all if you try to just go with somebody else for the time being, just to see. Because I think Michigan can be an 8-9 win team this year, and having good quarterback play is going to be a big part of it.
We'll see how Underwood does in year number 2. There's some of the thoughts of anonymous coaches on quarterbacks around college football. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. The class of 2022 lawsuit continues to grow, and more guys are coming back to their college sports. We'll tell you about some of those coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Tuesday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100. That's 803-404-6100. And we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
A wild cross-continental pitch has shocked the basketball world. Panathinaikos made a serious run at signing NBA MVP Nikola Jokic. Their team owner confirmed they tabled a formal offer to both Jokic and the Nuggets to buy him out of his contract. Unsurprisingly, Denver rejected it in seconds, but with Panathinaikos vowing to try again, Europe could win. I'm Drake Toll.
The burrito is fire.
Hi, this is Maya.
And I'm Antonio. And the little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A hash brown scrambled burrito
is that it fuels our morning.
It's the full package.
You have the chicken, you have the eggs, and then you add these hash browns for a nice little crunch.
The chicken's always nice. It's crispy, it's juicy. And the cheeses, they melt together in a beautiful way.
And it gives me energy. It's perfect.
Order the Chick-fil-A hash brown scrambled burrito and Simply Orange Juice on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life is full of tough choices, but switching and potentially saving hundreds when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive isn't one of them. Not like choosing a vacuum, which, sounds simple enough until 3 weeks later when you're joining vacuum forums and pouring through countless articles. Pretty soon you're making full-on spreadsheets, sifting through thousands of online reviews and saying things like cordless runtime in your everyday conversations. At least bundling home and auto with Progressive is an easy choice. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The best time to recommit to your gut health goals? Right now. Take charge of your gut with Nature Made. Our clinically studied ingredients support digestive health. Digestive enzymes break down nutrients. Probiotic and prebiotic fiber nourish good gut bacteria. And super greens with probiotics empower daily digestive health. Try the full lineup of gut health support from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. Tyler and Jack wrapping up hour number 1 of the Extra Point on our Tuesday here on the Game. This class of 2022 lawsuit or preliminary injunction granted by the judge in Colorado the other week has created quite a stir across the college sports world, and we had a caller that asked about this yesterday, and up to this point, it's not directly affected South Carolina sports with the exception of the one baseball pitcher that South Carolina got from UConn the other week. But as every day goes by, more and more stuff continues to come out about this injunction as well as more lawsuits that are coming out. Jeff Goodman of Field of 68 tweeted yesterday that there's a new lawsuit being filed in this state of South Carolina. I'm assuming they got a favorable judge, seeking a temporary and permanent injunction allowing certain players on this list involved in the lawsuit to get another year of eligibility from the class of 2022. Thomas Castellanos, the former Florida State quarterback, is included in this, the only football player on this list, as well as a lot of men's basketball players, including Mongolian Mike, who's seeking a 5th year of eligibility in college.
Yeah, I thought that was a little interesting because we did hear from LP last week who basically said, he was asked about Mike straight up, and it doesn't really sound like there's any plans to add an additional player. Now, it's interesting because South Carolina does have 15 players on the roster, so that's the cap for what you can have. But then he was like, there's like a loophole to be able to add another player to the roster. I don't know how. I mean, maybe if they, because again, there's no red shirting or anything, right, or whatever. I guess the only thing I guess they would still have it is the DSA tag if they have the designated student athlete tag, but I don't know who on this roster. I mean, I guess what's his name? One of the foreign guys that's going to be out for the year. I think it's is it Hugo Lopez? I think it is.
Okay,
that has the ACL injury. One of those guys is going to be out for the year with an ACL tear in their knee back from May. So I don't know. I mean, and honestly, do we see Mike even coming back to South Carolina?
It would buck a trend.
I was about to say, because he's been in his college career, he was at 4 different schools in 4 years. So, there's no loyalty there to coming back to South Carolina, right? I think it's just about where can I go play for another year, make a little bit of money because I didn't get picked in the NBA draft or haven't signed anywhere.
Yeah, and so we'll see what becomes of that. But as you mentioned, no real spots for them to add him at this point in time. Real quick as well, of course, we know they're down in the Bahamas right now. The team bonding stuff that was so beneficial a couple years ago when they were able to make the NCAA tournament, which we hope translates once again this time around. And, for what it's worth, they have been winning their games down there in the exhibition contest down in the Bahamas.
Yeah, so things went relatively well out there. And look, I don't take a ton of stock in those games, right? I mean, yeah, they played a little bit close the first game against Victoria where I think they were up by like 2 points at halftime. But look, man, as long as they're winning the games, I think that is a good sign right away because South Carolina didn't win much last year. And then you just look at it from the standpoint of getting a lot of different guys in there. And Corey Mincy showed some flashes. Seems like Bielauskas played pretty well. That's the main thing there is just getting the group on the floor, building that chemistry. And look, Lamont has pointed it out like last week when he was speaking with us. When they go on these trips, they end up having pretty good seasons ahead. So 2 years ago, they went to the Bahamas and ended up, tying the school record for most wins in program history. So can they do it again? I don't know. We'll see. It's an entirely new roster, but it is a good sign to see that they're going out here and winning these games.
Did you try and work it out where you could go to the Bahamas trip with them? No. You didn't look into that?
No, I didn't give a thought to that.
Did anybody from GC go?
No. I don't think anyone from media went. And if anyone's going from GC to travel for basketball, it would be me. But yeah, it's an exhibition too. I'd love to go to the Bahamas, but I wasn't even.
You should have really tried to get Shu to let you go on that one.
I gotta save my request to go on one trip for maybe later in the year or something. I don't know. I feel like they got some decent non-conference games. So
yeah,
but that was not going to happen, especially if it were regular season.
Sure,
maybe I try it, but yeah, exhibition. Nah, that was never gonna happen. I could tell you the answer right now would probably be no.
Yeah, what is it? The Atlantis Invitational they played down in the Bahamas. Is that right? They played one of the.
You talking about during the regular season?
Yeah, during the regular season.
Yeah,
one of the early.
Is Atlantis out in the Bahamas? I don't even know where. It's called like the battle with the number 4 Atlantis. I think
yeah, battle for Atlantis. That's what it is.
Now, if it was that or like, I wish South Carolina would play out in Hawaii
for the Maui.
Yeah, that would be. I'd love to go out there for that. That'd be cool.
Georgia played in that 2019.
Yeah,
and almost lost to Chaminade.
Yeah, that's right. And I know Carolina's going out to California this year, like that Palm Springs area, but I think it's probably during football season, so it's just not going to happen. But
yeah, football takes priority.
I was about to say. I was about to say. I'll travel a little bit this year, but it's not going to be anything drastic, I'm sure.
We know Jack does more traveling than probably anybody these days, so we'll see where it takes him this upcoming sports calendar year. We'll get back into the Freaks list coming up in hour number 2. How many total Freaks will South Carolina see, and what team is the freakiest, according to Bruce Feldman of The Athletic? We'll get into that coming up next as we continue on your Tuesday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
The first thing I would say is stop painting and get Rhino Shield because you're never going to have to paint again, and I truly believe that.
Don't spend your summer in the Carolinas painting. Do what Scott did. He called Rhino Shield.
This house is a stucco home. We have painted this house 3 times. Stucco continued to crack. The caulking peeled.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I told my wife that I want to see what it's going to cost to do it because if we don't have to paint again, we're saving money.
Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty, and it's formulated for our unique climate.
The Rhino Shield guys, they were careful with everything. When they were done, there was no damage to anything. It was something I was very impressed with.
And now you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
And I think the transferable warranty for 25 years is a very attractive thing, especially for a prospective buyer in the future.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Are
you calling your IT company over and over for the same issue, getting passed around to people who can't help, or worse, getting hacked after being told you were protected? That's not normal. At IntelliSystems, real engineers answer the phone live, resolve issues quickly, and explain things in plain English. If something feels off with your current IT provider, it probably is. Call IntelliSystems today and see what better IT support should actually feel like. IntelliSystems.com.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire Automotive.
Maybe it's 250 degrees right now in honor of America's 250th birthday.
So, come to Pope Davis for our All-American Star Spangled, red, white, and blue Freedom Eagle AC Special.
$50 off charging your AC or $200 off if you need your compressor replaced.
That's really giving ice cold.
This offer only good while it's still really freaking hot outside or until August 31st.
Bet.
Visit us online at popedavistire.com.
Stressed about visualizing your home remodel? You're not alone. Planning a new space shouldn't feel like a guessing game. At CHW Cabinetry, we've taken custom design to a whole new level. Our ultra photorealistic renderings leave nothing to the imagination, giving you total peace of mind before construction even starts. Plus, we equip your contractors with a complete job site book packed with detailed drawings and exact specifications, ensuring a smooth, hassle-free installation. Take the guesswork out of your dream home. Visit chwcabinetry.com today and see your vision come to life.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
25 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton law firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNAT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour. Sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Oh, wow! With Tyler Head and Gamecock Central. On 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. The 107.5 The Game app and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
That was I desire.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2. It is the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler Jack and Chris Clark along with us here on your Tuesday on the Game. We'll get back into Bruce Feldman's Freaks List in just a moment, but Russ further clarifies something we were talking about at the end of that last segment, Jack. He says Atlantis is on Paradise Island in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Actually, it's in Nassau, Bahamas.
Yeah, Nassau?
Nassau, sorry.
Yeah, Nassau.
So it says awesome chance to get to go there for basketball.
Man, that'd be awesome.
I don't think that's on Carolina's horizon at any point in the future, it doesn't seem like.
Well, yeah, I think you got to be a relatively good team to get out there. And, look, I think Carolina, maybe they'll have a better season. We'll see. But, typically they have the really good teams out there. And honestly, I could say the same for Maui. It seems like they always have, like, your blue blood type of programs out there on those trips.
Well, the good thing, Jack, is you don't have to wait for basketball to take you to these places. You could go on your honeymoon next year after you get married.
Oh,
there's that option as well.
Dude, 100%. That is... We haven't booked it yet. We'll book it here probably towards the end of the year, maybe heading into early next year. I don't know yet. We still gotta sort through some other things here. But Yeah, Hawaii seems to be the early favorite right now.
Okay.
It has been the one that's been the most talked about. So that'd be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Hey, Chris.
Chris is here. Chris is here.
Chris Clark or Christian Clark?
Well, is Christian Clark also known as Chris Clark? Do we have to clarify on that?
I don't know. It's a good question. He is speaking to the media today.
He is. I've never heard. Maybe that's there's a good question for you to ask.
Yeah, we have a guy named
journalism.
Yeah, we have a guy named Chris Clark at Gamecock Central. Just by any chance, have you ever been called Chris as well? Or
we will specifically refer to him as Chris Clark 2.0.
Yeah,
much like the two Mike Davises. You got 1.0 and 2.0.
Yes, that works.
Yes.
No, I've actually to go back to. I've been to Atlantis. I've been there. Not the mythical city.
I was going to say not the city underwater.
not Plato City, but I've been to Atlantis and Nassau. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool place. Yeah, you can go do some water slides and other activities that are fun. Jack, I'm kind of if you go to Hawaii, that's.
I think
I was going to ask you if you had a top 3 yet.
So
you might put a graphic out.
Hawaii's probably the one we've talked about the most. We've talked maybe about. Because I think we want to definitely go big for the honeymoon, like saving up.
As you should.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Go
why
for
not? Maybe Italy. I think Italy would be a lot of fun.
Goodness.
I know.
Go back to the home country.
I know. Italy would be a lot of fun. Beyond that, we haven't really discussed anything like. I don't think we've discussed anything else. I don't know what else we would. I mean, yeah, probably. I think we're gonna end up doing Hawaii. I think that is the current plan. I think that'd be really cool. Never been there before, so that would be awesome. And I feel like if you're going to go to Hawaii, it's definitely a once in a lifetime trip. So either it will definitely go someday. It's either going to be during the honeymoon or maybe an anniversary trip down the road.
Well, if length of plane travel factors in, the Bahamas is a shorter trip than Hawaii and Italy. So
it is a much shorter trip out to the Bahamas because the Bahamas are on the it's on the east coast, right? Like
it's like
in the waters over there.
Yeah, you're down there in how far below like Cuba and stuff is that?
It's down there. Okay, and my geography is way off.
You're on the eastern. You're below the eastern seaboard.
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely down there though. But
yeah, shorter flight if that factors in.
Yeah,
consider that. We'll figure out.
We'll see.
Well, Jack's got time to figure out.
I'll let you guys know when we have a better idea.
Yeah, we will. Yesterday we talked about Bruce Feldman's freak list, where again Nick Harbor for the third time in his 4 years in college comes in number 1. Dylan Stewart comes in 14, and Lenore Sellers comes in 36. So you got 3 players roughly in the top third of his freaks list, which again tells you how big of a deal it's going to be for Carolina to take advantage of that kind of talent this season upcoming. But I went through the list and I found Carolina, by the way, in case you're wondering, is going to see 16 different freaks this season, starting with Jaden Woods, the edge from Florida at number 5, all the way down to Jere Bledsoe, the defensive lineman from Mississippi State, number 95. A lot of edge rushers on this list as well. As I mentioned, Jaden Woods there. You're also going to see Anto Saka from Texas A&M, L.J. McCray from Florida, and there's one more in here. Yeah, Quincy Rhodes Jr. from Arkansas as well. So, a lot of freaks, a lot of guys coming off the edge, which further emphasizes how important offensive line play is going to be this year.
Well, and that's something that Shane Beamer points this out a lot in that the difference in, even within the Power 4, when you look at the SEC, you could certainly throw the Big Ten in there. And look, I'm not one of these people that's going to go on air or online and say, oh, the ACC, like there's some good players in the ACC, right? Sure. At all schools. And I mean, look at the amount of draft picks that Clemson had last year. They didn't have the season they wanted, but they had a ton of obvious NFL talent on that roster. But just on a week in, week out basis, you're going to see, every single week, you're probably playing a team that's got somebody who's going to be a first round pick at some point. And that really tends to show up on the defensive line. For these other schools, they're playing South Carolina and they're going against Dylan Stewart. If you're South Carolina, you're playing, Florida had 2 guys on that list. That's kind of one of the reasons, guys, why we're circling that game on the road in Gainesville. Yeah, first-year head coach. Yeah, a team that went 4-8 last year. but kind of similar to South Carolina. You look at them and go, all right, that's not exactly your typical 4-8 roster. They've got a lot of talent on this team. And, we're just talking to some people the other week about Mississippi State. You mentioned their defensive linemen who, I'll be honest, not really on my radar. Wes is the president of the Camario Taylor fan club. So we've talked about Camario Taylor. Kind of surprised maybe he didn't make this list. They've got a cornerback who's got a chance to be a high draft pick. And then you got this cat, so talent week in and week out that you're going to be facing in the SEC. Frankly, I thought that list would be a little higher. And this is just the freaks list. This isn't necessarily here's all the great players you're going to face every week. That list is much, much longer for South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that Florida game, it is going to be one that is definitely tricky for sure. But I would say that's probably like, when you look at the schedule first half of the year, that's definitely like the second hardest game. I think it's also just because it's on the road in the swamp. You could argue it'll be just as tough as going to Tuscaloosa for a lot of reasons. But, yeah, when you add in the fact that there are a few freaks on this list that are going to be, but at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't make a big deal of, oh, my gosh, somebody's a freak. I think of it more like, man, they're a really good football player, right? And Florida's got some really talented players on both sides of the ball. And I think that defense going to be pretty good. Maybe we'll see. It was Summerall taking over as the head coach there. But, yeah, I mean, I think that Florida game, it's definitely one that could be tricky for a lot of reasons.
Who do you guys think the freakiest teams based on this list are? As in the teams, there's two of them that have the most players featured on the freaks list.
Ooh, that's a good one. And I have not looked through the full list, so I'm not even cheating. Part of me wants to say, like, oh, is it like in Ohio State because they've got Jeremiah Smith on there and they always recruit very well, but I'm also not sure. You said there's two of them? I'll say Ohio State as a guess. I have no idea.
Is Oregon one of them?
Nope, neither one.
No.
Alabama and Notre Dame both have 4 players featured on this list.
Okay.
For Alabama, Jackson Lloyd, offensive tackle, Daniel Hill, running back, Ryan Coleman-Williams, wide receiver, and Bray Hubbard, their safety. Highest players 13th with Lloyd, lowest players 54th with Hubbard. And then Notre Dame's the other one with Francis Baru, their defensive tackle at 24, Bryce Young, their defensive lineman at 50, and Anthony Knapp, their offensive tackle at 63, and Elijah Hughes, I didn't write down his position, at 72 there. So those are the only 2 teams with more than 3 players featured on this list.
Notre Dame getting a lot of playoff buzz. Obviously, Alabama, still Bama in terms of having a good roster. Sounds weird, flying under the radar a little bit, but kind of a reminder that, hey, these guys still have a lot of talent. D1 Danny Hill, guy that South Carolina fans very familiar with from recruiting, nearly came to Columbia. Looked like at a couple different points, a few different points that may happen. Saw him in Williams-Brice last year, and he's really going to be a key player for them this year, guys. And when you look at this game, the run game for Bama last year was not even what you're accustomed to there. It was markedly worse, in terms of what they did. And listening to Kalen DeBoer around SEC Media Days, he said, hey, that's an area that we absolutely have to get fixed. So definitely some big-time guys on that list, Francis, the defensive tackle that you mentioned, big-time player. I believe a transfer there, I think he transferred from Pitt.
Yep.
Big-time player, very coveted out of the transfer portal by a bunch of schools. So, yeah, just another illustration, like loaded. Those teams still have a lot of talent.
With Alabama, wasn't Daniel Hill committed here or just highly recruited here, Chris?
Yeah, big time. He was someone that, very much looked at a couple different points like he was going to head to South Carolina and then didn't. So, but a guy that son of a former Mississippi State D lineman. So you got kind of the SEC bloodlines, big kid. Out of high school, he was 235 and he, owned from the state of Mississippi, had 2 Mississippi 6A track titles in the 110 hurdles, the 300-meter hurdles. There's also a note, guys, on his On3 profile, and I'm not sure, Tyler, maybe it mentioned this in the Freaks list. I don't have it in front of me. can squat 725 pounds. That's pretty good.
He apparently can squat more now because according to Feldman this offseason, stands at 6'1", 237, benches 485, squatted 800, and power clean 375. So he's gotten stronger since that was put on his On3 profile.
That's what you call country strong. Just a Mississippi dude. And when you look at him, you're like, God, dude's huge, you know? So one of those kind of what could have been type of situations for South Carolina.
Yeah. And those kind of measurables make you a freak, understandably so.
Yeah, 6'1", 236. That's crazy. Yeah, and look, Alabama. Look, they got to be better in the run game this year, right? They were not great running the football last year. Their offensive line wasn't great. They kind of had some similar struggles with like South Carolina did in those two categories. So yeah, Daniel Hill. Look, he's going to have a chance to be the guy in that running back room this year after a little bit of waiting, and we'll see if he can end up being, the player that Alabama expects him to be.
Well, Alabama is a freaky team. South Carolina is going to see them in week number 4. One team Carolina is not going to see this year is the Missouri Tigers, but we'll continue our tour around the SEC, get some thoughts on what's going to be happening in the other Columbia this year with Gabe Dierman of Power Mizzou coming up next as we continue on with the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing here on your Tuesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Summer Golf Classic is coming Friday, August 28th at Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The Golf Gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, lots of free stuff. And you can win Gamecocks football tickets. $440 a foursome. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event on Friday, August 28th. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, everybody, let's tell you about our friends over at Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. As always, the presenting sponsor of the Garnet Trust Hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays here on The Game. Krantz Cooling and Heating has been providing great HVAC services to Midlands residents and businesses since 1983. And now that same great service that you're accustomed to for your heating and your air conditioning now applies to the plumbing line. You can hit them up at 803-672-3224. You can also go to their website at krantzcooling.com. That's Krantz, cooling with a K.com. You can text them directly from their website. Let them know about what HVAC issues you're seeing at your home or business, what plumbing problems you're having. They'll schedule an appointment, come out, take care of it. Shout out to Justin Krantz, the general manager there. They do an incredible job. They've been out to my home in Wes's. Let them come out to yours. KrantzCooling.com.
Protecting your family, your health, your home. I'm David Hill of True Protect Pest Services, and that's what we're all about. At True Protect, we're more than your local pest control provider. We're your neighbors, and we care. Our technicians are certified in modern, environmentally conscious treatments that work. For local, reliable pest service, call 803-400-8188. That's 400-8188. I'll actually answer the phone, and we'll get started. True Protect Pest Services, proven pest protection.
Heartburn. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing is worse than heartburn after a long day. When you're finally off the clock, dinner's done, feet kicked up, kids asleep, and boom, heartburn tries to steal the moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. The effervescent tablets start neutralizing acid in seconds, so you can sit back, relax, and unwind from your day. Next time heartburn hits,
quick, Alka-Seltzer.
Use as directed.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Visit the go-to spot for dining in downtown Columbia. Step into the Golden Spur, the official restaurant of the University of South Carolina. From bold, crave-worthy lunches to elevated dinners, plus handcrafted cocktails that hit every time. The Golden Spur brings the flavor every visit. Planning something special? From celebrations to business gatherings, their private dining and event spaces set the perfect scene. The Golden Spur, where campus meets community. Located at 700 Lincoln Street, right across from Colonial Life Arena. Come see what everyone's talking about.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Hendrick. The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Car buyers across Columbia keep coming back to Hendrick for a larger selection, better pricing, and an easier buying experience. Plus, buy now and make no payments for 3 months. The nation's #1 dealer group is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Experience the Hendrick difference. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler Head, Jack Felcher, and Chris Clark along with you here on your Tuesday on the Game. Been talking a lot about other teams around the SEC, been hitting the ones that Carolina has been playing mainly, but we're going to talk about the other teams in the SEC as well. One of them that Carolina has been used to playing for over a decade now, not on the schedule this year, that being the Missouri Tigers, and we'll get some insight into what's happening in the other Columbia now with our guy Gabe Dearman from Power Mizzou joining us on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Gabe, appreciate the time as always. How are things in Columbia, Missouri?
About the temperature of the sun, but other than that, okay.
Well, that's another thing the two Columbias have in common then.
Yeah, it's about to go inside and not come back out for 48 hours or so.
As I mentioned, these two teams, of course, have played each other every single year since Missouri joined the SEC back in 2012. Not on the schedule this year. We always kind of poked fun at the rivalry because the only thing they had in common was the fact they shared a city name, and we had the Mayor's Cup because of it. What is the thought of not having Carolina on the schedule this year, if there's any at all out there in the other Columbia?
Yeah, I think most Missouri fans are okay with it. Honestly, I was hopeful that Missouri, South Carolina would be Mizzou's third kind of permanent game. Arkansas and Oklahoma were a given. We knew that was going to happen. Arkansas, whatever, that hasn't been a great series, but you knew it was going to happen. But Missouri got A&M as the third game, and I don't know. Missouri, South Carolina were fun games. I mean, there were some really good games in there, and I kind of, and I think you guys would agree with this, have gotten the feeling that Beamer and Drinkwitz might not be best friends, and there have been some barbs thrown back and forth. So I thought it would have been and relatively competitive. Like I think the programs have been, somewhat similar over the time since Missouri joined the league. They both had the really good run early and have had some struggles, but have also had some good years in there. So I don't think fans are really care that much one way or the other. But I thought it would have made sense.
Gabe, Chris here. Thanks for taking time, man. So you mentioned the temperature literally, but I wanted to check in on the temperature for Eli Drinkwitz. And, when he got to Missouri, first of all, the COVID year, 5-5, and then 2 back-to-back 6 and 7 seasons, seemed like the temperature was maybe getting a little warm, but then he submits an 11-2, a 10-3, and then last year little bit of a step back at 8-5. You look at this schedule this year, they've got 5 top 15 opponents. They've got 4 top 10 opponents, maybe a little bit of a tougher schedule than in the past few years.
Just a little, yeah.
Just a little. And that, honestly, man, something over the course of this kind of little mini rivalry, some of the people like to poke fun at, just the Missouri schedule has been maybe a little bit softer than some others. That is not the case this year. What is the temperature right now, and maybe, the expectation for this team in Drinkwitz? Is there anything that they have to accomplish? I know that's tough to tell sometimes, to kind of get things back on track to make everybody feel good long term.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you're ranking SEC hot seats, like Drinkwitz is, 12th, somewhere down there. I mean, anybody that just started probably is cooler. Kirby Smart is safer, certainly, but there is no pressure. He signed it. He was on lists at LSU, Florida, Penn State last year, Auburn. Whether or not he actually had an opportunity to get any of those jobs is certainly in question, but he was in kind of the top group for all of them, and Missouri signed him to an extension that not only, bumps him to, I forget exactly, somewhere between $10 and $12 million a year, but also has a clause in there that every year in which he wins 8 games, he is automatically extended for a year. And I think that actually, some schools would probably make fun of Missouri for doing that, but I think it shows a little bit of recognition for kind of who you are and where you are in this league. I mean, let's be honest. If you go 8-4 with a 9-game SEC schedule, like you just mentioned, Missouri plays 5 of the top 11 preseason teams in the country. I mean, the quote-unquote easy games on their SEC schedule are Mississippi State, Kentucky, Arkansas, and 2 of those are on the road. So they can be a really good team and go 8-4 this year. So there is zero pressure on him. Now, the temperature of this team, I think, is the same as it is with almost every fan base that isn't ranked in the top 10. It is the fan base thinks, well, why don't they understand all the guys we have coming in? They're vastly underrating us. And but Drink said the day before camp started, and he's always been self-aware, and I appreciated him saying this. He said, we got a whole bunch of questions to answer in the next month. I mean, they bring back now two regular starters on defense, one guy that started the second half of last year, one guy that sued his way back in after starting all 12 games, brand new quarterback. Nobody's sure when Ahmad Hardy's going to play. They have one wide receiver coming back who caught more than one pass for them last year. So, there's a lot of unknown about this team, but I think that's true of everybody because, Missouri has 54 new players on the roster.
Yeah, Gabe, you just mentioned it right there. How is Missouri handling the Ahmad Hardy situation with, it's a gunshot wound. It's not like your standard type of injury. So, but, they have Jamal Roberts, so it's like, They have honestly, Jamal Roberts, you put him on any SEC roster, he may be, the starting running back. It's just you got Ahmad Hardy in front of him.
Yeah, I think, I don't think it's exaggerating to say if Ahmad Hardy was healthy, Missouri would have the best running back room in the country. I don't know. I'm sure others in the conversation, but Missouri's at least in that discussion. Drinkwitz, it says there was about 24 hours there where, nobody was sure, there was some worry if Ahmad would make it, not back on the football field, but just period. After that, Drinkwitz has been pretty upfront and said, look, we don't really know. There's not a manual for this, right? He's going to play football again at some point. We don't know when. He said at SEC Media Days he had been medically cleared to kind of return back to football activities. He has not practiced yet, is not expected to practice probably this week. Drink said that he might have an update. We'll talk to him again Saturday. He said we might get an update then. There is growing optimism Ahmad Hardy will play this year. And nobody's going to put a date on it because there's no point in doing that. Like, you don't want to say, hey, he's going to play week 3 and then he doesn't play in week 3. I mean, the truth is Missouri shouldn't need him in the first 3 weeks. It's Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kansas, and Troy. You ought to be able to win those games with or without him. You'd like to have him September 26th when you go to Starkville. I don't know if that'll be the case or not.
Again, a couple more minutes here with Gabe Dierman of Power Mizzou. You briefly mentioned Austin Simmons taking over at quarterback, and I think it's easy for people to forget. He was very hyped going into last year before he gets injured early in the Kentucky game, and then Trinidad Chambliss takes over and becomes one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Simmons had some turnover issues in those couple games we saw him play last year. Where is he at in the offseason this year, and what are the expectations for him taking over at quarterback at Missouri?
Well, I mean, everybody's saying good things, but I don't know any coach in the country that you talk to him in August and go, what about this guy? Yeah, not sold on him. He doesn't look great, right? And we can't see it with our own eyes, which is the problem. But going into the season, you can see whatever you want to see in Austin Simmons. If you want to see the 5-star recruit who started college a year and a half early, who Lane Kiffin, who knows a little bit about quarterbacks, picked as his starting quarterback last year with a rocket arm and all the physical tools, you can see that. If you want to see the guy that has 6 career touchdowns and 5 career interceptions, you can easily see that too. We won't know, right, until really probably early October. What he is exactly. The potential is there. The physical tools are there, but he hasn't done it. And you don't know about a quarterback until he has been out there and done it. He is, it's interesting because the one knock on Drinkwitz here is the one thing he's never really gotten is that big-time quarterback. Brady Cook was his best quarterback. He didn't recruit Brady. He tried to replace Brady a number of times, and Brady was a guy that just wouldn't lose the job. But other than him, Missouri's quarterback play, including last year with Bo Pribula coming in from Penn State, has been below average for about the last 8 or 9 years since Drew Lock left. So that's really kind of the whole thing, right? If Austin Simmons is at the top of the spectrum, I can draw you a path where Missouri's in playoff contention late in the season. If he's at the bottom of the spectrum and you end up turning to whether it's Nick Evers, a career backup, or Matt Zollers, who got thrown in the fire too soon last year, then I can pretty easily draw you a path where Missouri's fighting to get to 6 wins.
Gabe, good stuff as always, man. We appreciate your time and enjoy the season.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
Gabe Dierman there of PowerMizzou.com. And again, no game against Missouri this year. So the Mayor's Cup will stay on the shelf in the other Columbia for the time being until we can get that game back on the schedule and try and get it back. We'll come back as continue on with the Garnet Trust Hour. The latest discussions around the future of the college football playoff. A new format was introduced yesterday. How'd it go over? We'll talk about that coming up next. It is the Garnet Trust Hour on your Tuesday on the Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, Tell them Mid-State Twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Are your brakes making that annoying squeak? Hi, I'm Woody at Wetzel's Automotive. We offer comprehensive brake services to keep you safe and on the road. Our ASE certified technicians will inspect your brake system, identify any issues, and perform necessary repairs or replacement. Don't compromise on safety. Ensure your brakes are in top condition. Visit us at 2017 Augusta Road in West Columbia or schedule your appointment online at wetzelsauto.com.
For appliances with reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of GE appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Jeffers McGill offers the best customer service and lowest price on every GE make and model, including GE Profile, Monogram, and Cafe brands. Jeffers McGill and GE, your home team.
For appliances with reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers statewide. Officers must be at least 18 years of age and have a high school diploma or GED. If you have correctional, police, security, or military experience, you can join their team at a promotional rank as a sergeant or lieutenant. Discover a rewarding correctional career with room for long-term career advancement and a generous employee benefits package that cares for you and your family. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 25 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast.
These players are battered and exhausted, but you don't hurt like this if you don't care about this team, about this country, about this game.
I think you can feel the intensity.
The goals, the energy, wow, look at us.
Here in the U.S., I have got some news for you. There's so much more to come. My name is Megan Klingberg, and we're just getting started.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler, Jack, and Chris with you on your Tuesday on The Game. Another reminder, coming up Friday, August 28th, it's the Game's Summer Golf Classic at Charwood, presented by 107.5 The Game and the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Gamecock Club's onion sausage will be served for breakfast. The libations bar will be provided by Saki's Wine and Spirits. The golf gun makes its return with all proceeds going to Camp Discovery. $440 for a foursome, $110 for a single player. If you want to sign up, give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000 and press the number 2. We hope to see many of you out there on Friday, August the 28th. Yesterday on the show, I brought up to Jack, Chris, this proposal of a different playoff format that the powers that be were going to discuss yesterday at their, it was a virtual meeting, I believe. I don't think they were all in the same place, as they were trying to come to a decision before the December 1st deadline of what the future of the college football playoff is going to be. This format was a 20-team format that's really a 16-team format, because you have a 16-team bracket with 4 playing games for each of the Power 4 conferences. This was proposed yesterday. Discussions didn't go very far, apparently, according to Heather Dinich. Before we get into my question about this, Chris, your thoughts on this format that, again, has kind of come out in the last couple of days?
Guys, I'm getting a little bit of analysis paralysis, I'll be honest, on all the football changes. So this would be ESPN's talking to the college football leaders, and this is Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports kind of coming over top of Heather Dinich's report from ESPN. 16-team format, 4 play-in games for the final 4 spots. And so basically a 20-team format that then goes to 16. So kind of think of it like the first 4.
Yes.
In the college basketball playoff to a lesser extent. You know, I don't. Do I have a strong opinion on this? I don't know. I think in some form or fashion, I think the push is eventually going to be to further expand the playoff. And I think we look at the why, and we just talked to Gabe DeArmond of Power Mizzou. Coach he covers, Eli Drinkwitz, was very upfront about this during some of his appearances at media days, and that, hey, they thought initially that this was going to be kind of a package deal. Hey, you're going to play 9 SEC games. What do you think of that? Hey, wink, wink. Sounds like the playoffs expanding. And they go, okay, if we got to play 9 SEC games, so be it. We'll do it. But then we need to have greater access to the playoffs, because Gabe brought up a good point. You can be a really good team. And by really good team, I just mean a really tough out, a very talented team, one of the better teams in the country. But when you play in the SEC or Big Ten, it's hard to go 10-2 and kind of guarantee yourself that playoff spot. Every single year, there's conversations, and South Carolina's been in there. You go 9-3, you get left out. You're on that bubble. The concern for coaches in the SEC is, all right, now we're adding in another SEC game instead of whoever from the G5 or, FCS or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And they're worried that the committee is not going to properly bake that into their decision. So I kind of think I don't know how we get there or when. It seems like we're moving towards expansion, and I think that's what SEC coaches are going to want now that they've got to play this extra game.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because, again, so many coaches that are advocating for this are doing it for the sake of job security, right? Because, and look, like the Ohio States and the Texas, they know they're probably going to be in a 12-team playoff more often than not, so not as big a deal to them. But for places like Missouri, for places like Illinois, you expand this thing out to 24 or 32 or whatever it may be, they're going to feel like they have a really good shot to make that every single year. So I expand this question to South Carolina, and we look at it from the perspective of media members, but people that are listening can weigh in on the text line as well. Would you be willing to go for an expanded playoff if it meant your team could be in more often than not? Because Carolina, yeah, they can have a 9-3 season like they did a couple years ago and be on the fringe of a 12-team playoff. But I think if the playoff expanded to 24, where you say, all right, just go 8-4 every single year and you'll probably be in, that's something that Carolina could realistically do on a year in, year out basis in a lot of people's eyes, and that makes that very obtainable for a fan base like this. So I guess, because I think we all look at this from the standpoint of the greater good of college football, which we all seem to love the regular season, are we willing to bend that for something that would benefit South Carolina directly? Because an expanded playoff certainly would.
You're just getting teams in at that point that probably don't deserve to be in. Like, an 8-4 team making the playoff just doesn't sound right, honestly, in a lot of ways. And at that point, I think that's where you expand you expand the playoff to a point where you're just putting teams in that shouldn't be in. Now, look, South Carolina, I'm sure if the playoff expanded, it meant they could get in every single year. I'm sure they would be more than willing to be on board with it. As someone, as a media member, and just looking at this from just a big picture, unbiased perspective, yeah, I think it would be good for Carolina, but is it right? No, I think the playoff should not be expanded past 16 teams. I think if you go anything beyond, like you want to do 20, but that includes like the play-in games to eventually get to like 16 heading into the first round. Okay, that's fine. But that is like the max I think that you should be willing to go to. And look, if South Carolina can't get in as one of the 20 best teams in the country, then that to me is that's a problem then.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, Tyler. I was going to say, I mean, on one hand, you've got the security. You brought up a good point, but it's kind of a catch-22, the job security of, hey, there's expanded access to the playoff. If we do a good job, we got a better chance of making the playoff. But on the other hand, if you expand to 20, you think about expanding to 24, and you don't make the playoff, right? Then your administration and fan base are sitting around saying, all right, we've expanded the playoff. You're not one of the 24 best teams. Why didn't you make the playoff? Why haven't you made the playoff in 3 or 4 years? Mm-hmm. And it can kind of go the other direction. But one important note here that Ross Dellinger passed along, the Big Ten and the SEC, of course, are continuing to haggle over this playoff format since they are the two conferences that control it. And the Big Ten is not on board with this 20-team format. They've been trying to, the Big Ten wants to go all the way to 24. The SEC doesn't seem to want to expand that greatly. And so they're still not on the same page. So is this looks like an attempt at a compromise, but right now it's still not there.
It's important to note the big reason why the Big Ten is pushing so much for 24 is because of their relationship with Fox, right? Like right now, ESPN has exclusive rights to the college football playoff with the set number of games that they have. If they expand this out more, they're going to have to look elsewhere to take part or to allow other networks to take part in that game. And Fox has an opportunity to come in and be a part of this, which would generate them more revenue and all that kind of stuff. And Tony Petit's never going to say that. The coaches in the Big Ten are never going to say that. But that's a big part of this, too, that their big TV partner is trying to wedge their way into the playoff any way they can. And having a 24-team format would do that.
It definitely would. It definitely would. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, ESPN, TBS, TNT, I think USA Today, USA Network, I can't remember, but those
not for the playoff.
Not for the playoff.
Yeah,
okay.
TNT,
but
TBS,
those three, yeah, they can cover a good bit of the playoffs. So I don't know if it expands. It would be interesting to see how that deal ends up working out. To where is it ESPN getting all the rights and then they distribute to TNT and TBS and True TV? I don't know. Maybe Fox is definitely going to want to get in. And honestly, can you really blame them? Like, they really get the Big Ten championship and then the Holiday Bowl. Is that right? Like, is that it? Like, I mean, CBS probably wants in too because they get the Sun Bowl and that's it. And they get Army Navy as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Fox. I mean, they definitely probably want to get in. Who could blame them?
I remember the days when Fox had exclusive rights to the BCS.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. We'll get to some text on this coming up next to wrap up the hour. It is the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing on your Tuesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
It's been a mostly drama-free offseason for the Dallas Cowboys, a departure from how things usually go. But there is some potential chaos lurking in the background. Star wide receiver George Pickens will play this season on the franchise tag, and his fellow wide receiver CeeDee Lamb now openly campaigning for the Cowboys to sign Pickens to an extension. Pickens has played nice thus far, but what happens if he doesn't? I'm Nick Cousins.
Before
Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making predictions. On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Last week, Los Angeles was trading at 16%, meaning a $100 trade would pay out $590 if they take home the title. On Kalshi, as the probability changes, you adjust your position. Download the Kalshi app and use code UPDATE to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only, must be present in state where it is legal to trade. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. Bonus credits do not expire. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler, Jack, and Chris wrapping up the hour here on Tuesday on The Game. Again, Coach Beamer's presser coming up today at 1 o'clock. We'll have that for you right here on 107.5 The Game during the halftime show. I posed a question in that last segment when we were talking about the expanded playoff, which, again, the debate's between 16 and 24. And now there's this new concept out there of a 24-team playoff, which is really 16 with 4 play-ins that, again, didn't get much conversation yesterday when the powers that be met about this. But I asked the question for you, the South Carolina fan, are you willing to accept an expanded playoff if it was more beneficial for South Carolina? Nameless texter weighed in and said, if they can make it in a 24-team field, greatest thing ever. If they don't, worst decision, and it's ruining college football. There is no in between. I feel like that's how most fans would feel, right? Because, and again, I think we all look at this from the standpoint, because, by the way, expanded playoff is very unpopular with most fans. Even Petiti alluded to this the other week at Big Ten Media Days, where he's like, yeah, we see the polls, we see the the fan sentiments out there on forums and things like that, but we think, if we expand this thing, they're going to enjoy the games and pack the stadiums out. Regardless, doesn't really answer the questions on if fans really want this or not, but I feel like a lot of people initially against this. However, if your team is making a 24-team field, if your team is going deep in a 24-team playoff, best thing ever. But that's going to vary fan base to fan base, obviously.
About even the roller coaster ride of the 2024 season, y'all. We saw that Old Dominion game that was a win that kind of felt like a loss. You escaped. You're sitting there 3-3, coming off of a 5-7 season, and the vibes were not great. Well, then you turn things around. You win 6 straight games, starting at Oklahoma and finishing with that thriller against Clemson. And now the conversation at that point is, the playoff better let us in. Who's playing right now better than South Carolina? And there was a good argument, and they just missed the cut, right? So that created the conversation among that fan base for South Carolina, this fan base. Hey, they either need to let more teams in, because if this is the field South Carolina deserves to be in, or, hey, we got hosed from the fan perspective, right? So I'll go back to what I said last segment. If you expand this thing out, yes, it gives coaches and teams more access and more opportunity to make the playoff. In a way, though, it also creates more pressure. Because if you're sitting there in, let's say for a new coach, let's say for John Sumrall at Florida, okay? Let's say that this thing went into effect in year 3 of his tenure. He's going into year 1. And then he's sitting there in year 4, and theoretically, let's pretend he had not made the playoff in the old format or the new one. He's going to be sitting there in year 4 at Florida saying, hey, not only did you not make the playoff for your first 2 or 3 years, we just expanded it. You didn't make it again. Pack your bags, and we'll try the next guy, right? Or think about, for Shane Beamer, if they expand the playoff in the near future, that's going to create more pressure. That is what you're judged by now. It used to be you could keep a job and be very successful, and you didn't have to go win a championship. You could win your conference. Now nobody cares about winning the conference.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's nice. A lot of times you have to go back and look nowadays. Who won the conference? I mean, I have to do that all the time. Maybe that's a me problem, but go back. Who won the conference? Because really, it's all about, did you make the playoff and how far did you get? And so when you expand access, that gives more access, but also more pressure to go make it if it's an expanded field. That's how people ultimately judge success. Years ago, or even when it was a 4-team playoff, you didn't have to say, did you have a good season or not? The answer wasn't, did you make the playoff? Now, increasingly, that is what has become what you're judged by. And if this thing expands, it's going to be even more so the case, I think.
And I think if they did expand the playoff, kind of going off your pressure point there, Chris, I think it would I think the feeling would probably be similar to what we're going to be expecting to see with the NCAA tournament for basketball getting expanded to 76 teams, right? To where, like for multiple teams, and probably including South Carolina, if you don't make the 76-team playoff or tournament, then that's a big problem right there. And there's more pressure to where teams feel like it should be make the tournament or bust. And so I think if you expand the playoff to 20 teams, or even beyond that, it becomes less of I feel like the playoff making the playoff should be tough, right? And it still is tough with 12 teams, to where the teams that make it are typically 10-2 teams or better. That is typically the cutoff. And even if you go 10-2, it does not guarantee you anything. Look at Vanderbilt last year as a perfect example. But if you continue to expand it, you're just allowing teams in that have 3-4 losses on the schedule. Like a team that makes the playoff, I think we may get a 9-3 team in from the SEC this year, maybe. But beyond that, there should not be. If you're losing 4 games during the season, you should not even be in the playoff mix. That I think is where you need to draw the line. Is 3 losses or less, you could maybe get in.
Well, right now they're still at an impasse on 16, 24, being somewhere in the middle with 20. And hey, if they can't decide, we'll just stick at 12, which is perfectly fine with me. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour coming up next as Tuesday rolls along here on the game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
You've seen them, the Goliath out-of-state law firms invading South Carolina, talking about how big they supposedly are. But if you've been in a bad wreck, all that big talk may not help you one bit. I'm attorney Michael Jeffcoat. I was born and raised right here in South Carolina. And as your neighbor, I'm committed to maximizing your recovery after a bad wreck. So after a serious injury, call Jeffcoat at 803-200-2000 because you deserve better.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire Automotive.
Maybe it's 250 degrees right now in honor of America's 250th birthday.
So, come to Pope Davis for our All-American Star Spangled Red, White, and Blue Freedom Eagle AC Special.
$50 off charging your AC or $200 off if you need your compressor replaced.
That's really giving ice cold.
This offer only good while it's still really freaking hot outside or until August 31st.
Bet.
Visit us online at popedavistire.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
Hey y'all, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Fan City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head.
To the house!
On 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Welcome back back in Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on the Game. Tyler, Wes, and Chris with you. Coach Beamer speaking right at 2 hours from now, 1 o'clock, which we'll have for you on the halftime show right here on 107.5 The Game. And then, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're into our regular rhythm, right? Beamer on Tuesdays, here for some players on Tuesdays, assistants on Wednesdays, though not this week. And, again, it's just that vibe and feel of being in the flow of the football season as, guys, only 25 more days until toe meets leather against Kent State.
I'm ready for let's dive right in, Tyler.
No more.
I mean, we're just talking about talking, so let's dive right in.
Okay.
I'm tired of saying we're close. Let's just do it.
Yeah. I only 3.5 more weeks.
Let me also say, man, as you've mentioned, and guys, it really was not that long ago. Like I feel like the thing of if it's on the internet, it's there forever, is actually not true, because if you go back and try to do some Mike Davis searching,
very hard,
because there were 2 Mike Davises.
Yes.
The first Mike Davis is now you will actually find the second Mike Davis's profile with the former Mike Davis's picture on it. So it's not as easy as you think. Even getting back to, that was like early Spurrier era.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, is still not that long ago that it would seem like everything was saved on pen and paper or something. Like the internet was the internet was well established at that point. So
I'm really glad you brought this up, because in searching for a Mike Davis 1.0 question, I got a lot of Mike Davis 2.0 that I had to double and triple check. Okay, let me make sure I'm attributing this to the correct Mike Davis, because yes, anything you search for Mike Davis, South Carolina, is going to come up with the latter instead of the former, more likely than not, except for the Gamecock Online profile, which was kind of bizarre.
You found the Gamecocks Online profile?
No, I found the one for the most recent Mike Davis.
Yes, yeah.
That, again, has the information of the first Mike Davis on it.
Oh, it does, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
That created more confusion, because I'm like, okay, this is the 2014 roster, but this is definitely not the same Mike Davis.
Well, yeah, it lists the Atlanta, Georgia, Stevenson High School Mike Davis at the top.
Yep.
Huh.
Well, and I found the Mike Davis 1.0 profile from his junior year, his picture, his stuff, heading into his senior year, but listed him as number 28, which is Mike Davis 2.0. So just a lot of weird. It's like a glitch in the matrix there. These names really threw everybody off.
Does yours mention Columbia High School at the top?
No, it's Atlanta Stevenson. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They decided, you know what? We got 2 guys with the same name that played pretty close together. We're just going to combine them into one person.
It's just one guy.
Yeah. Why
That's
not?
it.
Why the heck not? Well, it sounds like you guys both did your research on Mike Davis 1.0.
Well, not really.
Or at least
I
attempted to.
But
now, any up for 25? Any other guys naming dudes we can throw out there?
What'd you say? Was Kadietrix Marcus 25? Didn't you say that yesterday, Chris?
He was. Yep. Played in a bunch of games for South Carolina. AJ Turner, of course. I really hope you don't ask an AJ Turner question, Tyler, because Wes is probably all over it.
It's not an AJ. It is a Mike Davis question. If I didn't make that obvious in terms of searching for the information yesterday.
And speaking of that Mike Davis, I had to double check and make sure that we weren't on air for 28, which that was a weekend. So that was Saturday, because I was like, how did we miss that Mike Davis? Which we're safe there. It was just a matter of us not having a show.
See, I've thought about including if it's a significant number, be like, okay, we're not going to be on air for 28. Maybe I'll include them on Friday or Monday, but I feel like that kind of goes against the spirit of the countdown a little bit, because that's not the day we're on. So I've decided not to do that.
Okay,
fair enough.
Yeah.
So are we prepared? Are we prepared for Mike Davis 1.0 question?
We're not really prepared, but we are ready for it.
All right. When Mike Davis was playing at South Carolina, he at the time tied the record for most rushing touchdowns in a single game against who?
Oof. Wes, not one that I had on the radar. And I'm going to assume same for you.
Tied the record for most touchdowns.
Rushing touchdowns.
Rushing touchdowns.
Single game against who?
All right. I'm going to take a stab based on something that I did research.
Okay.
Okay. So Mike Davis 1.0 had, I believe, 4 100-yard rushing games, which I was really hoping you would ask, Tyler, which ones they were. And I think I'm going to try to pull my answer from one of those.
Okay.
Now, he could have had, like, you're going to say, oh, he had 6 touchdowns and 40 yards in a game. Like, that's very possible. But just trying to play the odds because I don't know the answer to this question, I'm going to try to pick from one of those. I've narrowed it to a couple in my head. I'm going to go Clemson. Okay. And I don't feel great about it, but that's what I'm going with.
All right. Wes?
Can you confirm that the answer is not UAB?
The answer is not. I don't even think they played UAB.
I don't think they played UAB.
When he
Are
was
y'all
here.
sure about that?
Let me run through the schedule real quick.
Oh, man.
The answer is not UAB, but let me see if they actually played him or not.
I don't think so.
I think they played UAB every year for a stretch.
UAB was always on the schedule. It does not appear they played UAB when Mike Davis 1.0 was on the roster.
I have a backup I'd like to submit too, but I'll wait till Wes.
Okay.
I won't get points.
Yeah, see,
but I want to submit it so that Wes won't say I'm making an excuse when I said this is the other one I was thinking of.
Do you want to text it to me so I have it confirmed?
Yes.
All right.
I have no idea.
Now, see, I thought this was going to be like easier because again, when somebody ties a school record in something, I thought that might like stand out of like, oh yeah, he did it in that game for sure.
I mean, sorry, Mike, if you're listening, I don't remember being memorable. It's awful. Was it a bunch of like just short touch? I don't know. All right, I guess give me Florida.
Florida. And Chris, what was your first answer?
Well, obviously didn't get it right. Clemson.
Okay, let me check your backup answer here. Let's see. Nope, that one's not right either. All right, here's a clip from the game, and then I'll tell you who it is.
Hand off to Davis. And he will take it to the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina, 12 yards, and the third TD for Mike Davis this afternoon.
Mississippi State.
2007, 3 rushing touchdowns against Mississippi State and South Carolina's win, which at the time tied the school record for most in a game. Of course, Kevin Harris will break that a couple years later with 5 touchdowns in 2020.
Kind of hard to believe that 3 was the number, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pre-Lattimore, but just in general, you also had Big George, you know? Like, you felt like Big George would have had like 6 touchdowns in a game. You know? I mean, it's just kind of a weird stat. By the way, I think Mike Davis 1.0 had 100-yard games against Clemson was one of them, Missouri in the bowl loss, and then SC State and NC State. So I was ready for that one, Tyler. I was ready, but you did not. Of course, you did not ask it. So
got to keep guys on your toes.
You did.
Yeah. But yeah, 38-21 win back in 2007. Jefferson Pilot Sport special, by the way, and especially when you're talking about like mid 2000s, individual clips of like touchdowns and things like that aren't as prevalent. So for a lot of these games, I'm going into the full broadcast and trying to find when these scores are happening. So I got to skim through a classic Jefferson Pilot Sports broadcast yesterday, finding this one.
Dave.
It looked like this was a home game for Carolina. Game kicked off at 12:30, and it looked like it was 8 billion degrees outside because that was the signature for
that's
JP
because
Sports.
it absolutely was.
September 29th, it probably was.
If I gave you 700 guesses, neither of y'all could name the starting quarterback from Mississippi State that day. But Tyler might can, because you probably looked this up.
Wes,
does anybody know? We're not going to have a bunch of dead air, but do you know?
Now, are you going to offer Wes a half a point for this?
If Wes gets this and has not looked at the box score, I will give him a full point.
Okay. All right, Wes. Here's your chance.
Oh, man.
Did not know this guy existed, to be honest with you.
I do not know the answer. Let me pull a Chris and just say that Mike Davis did have 2 touchdowns against Florida his freshman year, and then 2 additional touchdowns against Florida his sophomore year.
Now, did you watch those games with his family too?
I did not. Mississippi. All right, Mississippi State quarterback. Who we got?
It is Josh Riddell. Unclear if there's a relation to the helmet people. No idea.
I didn't remember this guy.
You know
either.
how like you'll be like, here's a random SEC quarterback. Yeah. I remember that guy. I literally don't remember that guy.
Well, all right. If the sports reference is accurate, he only played in 3 games that year.
Was somebody hurt?
Had to be because I do remember Michael Hennig for Mississippi State.
I remember him.
I actually do not remember the guy who played the most that year, Wesley Carroll.
Oh, Wesley.
Don't remember him at all.
Don't remember him. And then several years later, guys, we saw Dak Prescott in Columbia, and the Gamecocks
get crushed
won in a romp in that game. Dak Prescott 3 picks in that game. No touchdowns.
Apparently, Josh Riddell was an elite JUCO player at Foothill College, where in 2 years he threw for 5,300 yards and 54 touchdowns, leading Foothills to 2 Silicon Valley Bowl championships, where he was named offensive MVP.
The more you know.
Never heard of that either. I think he, like, no disrespect to Josh if he's listening, but that sounds like a made-up school. I think he's just like, I threw for 5,200 yards. Where? Foothills.
Well, and back then it was harder. It was harder to find those stats and information on the internet anyway. So he'd be like, yeah, sure. I went to, he looks down at his feet. He sees a hill off in the distance. Foothill College. Yeah, that's where I went.
Foothills.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So there you go.
Guys, y'all are acting like this was the mid 80s or something. Like the internet existed.
It was just not. It was harder to find things then.
Oh my gosh.
Than it is now. Or at least the things that they had are a lot harder to find now.
They're disappeared,
buried
by
under
now. But
10 pages of Google search results.
Yes, but the internet was not even in its infancy at that point. Like it was cooking pretty well at that point.
Oh no, I listened. I was on the internet back then. I had dial up like everybody else. I'm waiting 10 minutes for a page
you
to
were
load.
Like 6 years old or something.
No. I had dial up. My mom yelled at me to get off the internet so she could use the phone plenty of times. So I understand. 25 days until kickoff there. We'll get into what anonymous coaches said about Lenora Sellers coming up next as we continue on with the Gamecock Central Hour, Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
A moment of good feels from your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Rattler crossing route, got it. And that's Jalen Brooks at the 10, the 5. Jalen going for it. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Jalen Brooks.
Now that's some good feels right there.
Spencer Rattler has done what no other Carolina quarterback has ever done. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes on the night.
From 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, folks, we'll tell you about them every single day. It's our friends over at Integrated Media, integratedmediainc.com. For more information, or if you want to go ahead and have them come out to your home, 803-948-8327. Go ahead, set something up today. They've been to my house. They've been to Chris's. Let them come to yours as well and upgrade your football viewing experience. you still got time. The countdown is on, like we've been saying, 25 days till kickoff. But hit them up now. They can hang your TV. They can hide the wires. They can introduce surround sound in your living room. Or if you got that man cave or that extra room in your home you've been wanting to turn into a man cave or home theater system, they can help you with that too. The beauty of it is if you've got the ideas, they will turn it into a reality for you and just make it super, super simple on you. Again, if you want more information, head on over to integratedmediainc.com or call them today, 803-948-8327, our friends at Integrated Media.
Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, crescentcarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at crescentcarolina.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers statewide. Officers must be at least 18 years of age and have a high school diploma or GED. If you have correctional, police, security, or military experience, you can join their team at a promotional rank as a sergeant or lieutenant. Discover a rewarding correctional career with a room for long-term career advancement and a generous employee benefits package that cares for you and your family. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
Fight Night is back, and the only place to catch every punch, kick, and knockout in full-on Sports Lodge glory is Twin Peaks. Settle in with scratch-made favorites, legendary wings, and 29-degree draft beer that hits colder than a heavyweight takedown. With wall-to-wall TVs, you won't miss a single moment of the action. Grab your crew and make it a fight night to remember. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire Automotive.
Maybe it's 250 degrees right now in honor of America's 250th birthday.
So, come to Pope Davis for our All-American Star Spangled Red, White, and Blue Freedom Eagle AC Special.
$50 off charging your AC or $200 off if you need your compressor replaced.
That's really giving ice cold.
This offer only good while it's still really freaking hot outside or until August 31st.
Bet.
Visit us online at popedavistire.com.
At Herndon Chevrolet, there's no need to wait a week for service. Our full team of technicians is ready to get your vehicle checked the same day. From oil changes to major repairs, we're here to keep you moving with expert care you can count on every time. Fast appointments, trusted repairs, convenient service, and a friendly team ready to help you. Only at Herndon Chevrolet.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on The Game. Tyler, Wes, and Chris. Again, 25 days until the season kicks off, and every single year, Adam Rittenberg of ESPN puts out an article where he takes quotes from coaches anonymously, where they give honest thoughts and opinions on various things like coaches in college football and quarterbacks. And the quarterback article came out yesterday, and this isn't about every quarterback in college football, but some of the more notable ones, including Lenoris Sellers. We have two separate coaches in the SEC, two separate defensive coordinators, more specifically, they gave their thoughts on Lenoris Sellers under the cloak of anonymity so they could be very honest about it. And one ended up saying he really struggles to process in the middle of the game. When you move him around or you move things around on him, He just really struggles. But I think Kendall's system, if Kendall can be like, hey, you do this or take off running, if he can get him to do that, I think the kid could be scary. He's so hard to bring down. Another defense coordinator would say Kendall will make it a little bit more friendly. He's not going to force him to do something he's not, which I feel like at times he was last year. They're going to try to win games. You're not a pocket passer. The best thing you do is take off and run because no one can tackle you. Again, two separate defense coordinators, don't know who they are, don't know what teams they're representing, but giving their honest takes on South Carolina and Lenore Sellers. And I got to say, that sounds pretty accurate to a lot of things we've talked about and discussed so far this offseason.
Yeah, I think, for one, something that stood out to me about this is how both DCs mentioned Kendall Briles, mentioned him by first name, no less, and mentioned that they think he'll have a good plan for Lenore's skill set. And so, I was just trying to think back, how long would you have to go before South Carolina's offensive coordinator would be called out in a good way in something like this, in terms of that guy's a known commodity and I'm going to call him by first name and everybody's going to know who I'm talking about. And he's probably going to be a positive for this QB. You'd have to go a long way back, I think, before you'd maybe say that. Actually, maybe if you did one of these Bobos one year, I know people have their opinions on Bobo, but I feel like the college coaching community probably has a lot of respect for Mike Bobo. So I thought that was interesting. I think, when you start getting into some of this stuff, man, with a guy like Lenore's here, I think you're also talking about things that can be improved. These guys don't play in vacuums. He had to deal with a lot of different things in terms of O-line play, in terms of OC, in terms of just overall play around him. And, I don't think it's fair to say Lenore Sellers can't process things quickly. Is there a way to maybe improve some of those things? Absolutely. Now, I do go back. So last year, I got a call actually from one of the ESPN analysts that was doing one of South Carolina's games and was digging on South Carolina's roster and basically was like, can I use you as a resource on this stuff? And his point to me, because as he was asking me questions, was, man, why are they trying to do what they're doing on offense when this isn't even what the NFL teams do anymore? And, take Jalen Hurts, for example. They built the offense around Jalen Hurts, and, they win a Super Bowl. And so I think it was a little bit of just man, this system, it's not only an NFL system, it's an old NFL system, was kind of his point. So, I think there's just, again, my takeaway is that you're going to see a much different approach on offense this year, and I think it absolutely fits Lenore's skill set.
Yeah, totally agree. A positive to, hear what some of the limitations were, I think, really last season is what these coaches are talking about. And to hear, number one, that both of them called out Kendall Briles as a net positive for being able to get him on track and really accentuate his talents. But again, guys, something that we've said a lot is we're not sitting here saying, can Kendall Briles unlock talent that we've never seen from Sellers? If we're just sitting here saying, yeah, Lenore Sellers he was a top 100 talent out of high school. He's big, he's fast, he can throw it a mile, he's got all the physical tools, but we haven't seen it. No, we have seen it. And we haven't just seen, here's one good game here and there. We have seen it the back half of 2024. His first season as a starter was one of the best players in the country. When he was healthy, when things were clicking. And so I always try to draw the line of what were the differences? And obviously there was a difference in play caller and offensive coordinator from 24 to 25. And we all know that South Carolina could not run the football. One of the reasons that offense was good in 2024 was they could run the ball with Sellers, with Rocket Sanders. That was a team that finished, top 25, top 35 in rushing for the only time in the Shane Beamer era. and it just so happened to be their best season. You know, that's not a coincidence. So when you look at Sellers last year, like, yeah, you can go back and check the tape and see, okay, you can come to the conclusion that, well, he's having trouble processing. Well, why? They can't run the ball. There's too much on him. There's too much pressure. That pressure, guys, was there in 2024 as well. That mental pressure, that physical pressure, the legitimate pressure from defensive linemen up front, like that was still in place, and he dealt with it a lot better. And I think a big part of that was just the freedom he had in that offense. I think safe to say a little bit more freedom. And I think he was just playing with a lot of confidence, and they could fall back on the run game. They had some more veterans on that offense. So when you bring it forward to this year, I think it's a great point. Like, Kendall Briles can, I think, get him back to that. Can he make the passing game a little easier? Can he give you easier access throws? Not that Sellers is limited to those things, but look at any quarterback that's out there playing and playing really well. They're going to have times where they can just have easy access throws and rely on their teammates and not have to do it all themselves. But you want to open him up to those opportunities to make those big plays, to take a potential sack into a 20-yard run, an explosive run. Like, that is where Sellers thrives. And so they have to thread that needle. And as our guy Ramon Robinson says, Wes, you got to let 16 be 16 at the end of the day.
Well, and that's why, again, the Briles thing was met with so much praise in the offseason when it did happen, because it is truly an offensive system that, again, we'll see for the first time in 25 days, we feel like fits Sellers in his skill set better than the prior two had under, Dow Loggins and Mike Shula. A lot of pro concepts in there. And again, he did very well towards the end of the year in year number one with Dow Loggins. But this seems like one that's more tailor-made and will be more built around him, as Briles and, Beamer have talked about this entire offseason, that we really think we can, like you said, not unlock, but get back to what we saw the best version of him being 2 years ago, if not even better.
Yeah, and I think, to give him a little bit of credit, I do think that Dow schemed up some things in that offense, and I think he was letting Lenoris go play. I think he was a little bit more open to saying, look, this is what we have dialed up, but if you don't see it, if it doesn't hit the way we expect, if there's no protection, go do your thing. I think he was able to play Lenoris much more just naturally in that scheme, and I think we saw more pre-snap movement and motion when Dow was running the show. And so there was a little bit more, I think, just clearance in terms of like, hey, this is what I'm seeing pre-snap, and this is what I'm expecting from the defense because of it. And so I think some of those things went away a little bit last year, and then once the confidence was gone, it was going to be tough to, completely get it back. I think at times we did see a little bit of a preview of some of what we're going to see from this offensive approach once Mike Furrey took over. There were some good moments along the way from the scheme, and, it was a little bit more spread-oriented, a little bit more kind of, not simple, but certainly a little bit more just simplified than what we had seen before. And, I think that was a slight preview of some of the things you'll maybe see this year.
Again, that's what the anonymous coaches had to say about Lenoris Sellers. What they have to say about some of the quarterbacks Carolina's going to see this year in the SEC. We'll discuss that on the other side. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Tuesday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Summer Golf Classic is coming Friday, August 28th at Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The Golf Gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, lots of free stuff. And you can win Gamecocks football tickets. $440 a foursome. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event on Friday, August 28th.
It looks amazing. It looks like a Teflon coating on there.
We're very excited that we don't ever have to paint again.
If you live in the Carolinas, don't spend your next summer painting. Go Rhino, and you'll never have to paint again.
We chose it because of the fact that we saw a house that had done it, and I just went, that's something I'd like to have done to my house.
Rhino Shield specifically formulated for our unique climate right here in the Carolinas.
I would highly recommend Rhino Shield. You can't beat the 25-year transferable warranty, by the way.
Let me put it this way. I haven't had any complaints. And as the president of the association, that's the best part.
Right now, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
For anybody that's skeptical about putting Rhino Shield on your house, take a real close look at it. The warranty, 25 years, is something that I just don't think you can beat.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
We know what it's like when you're injured. You hurt, you can't work, you can't pay your bills, and the insurance company won't return your calls. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're here for you when things go bad. We're local, resourceful, and have a proven record of success.
I'm Stephen Samuels. Our team is big enough to handle any case and small enough to care about each one.
We get South Carolina because we're true South Carolina. Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
With Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances, and Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Hey folks, it's Mark and Alison here from the British Bulldog Pub in Harbison.
A place where there's great food, cold beer, big screens, and no passport required.
Whether you call it soccer or football, you can experience both at the British Bulldog Pub in Harbison.
So come join us for some British bravado watching the games with a dose of southern charm.
If you want your fix of fish and chips, meat pies, pasties, sausage rolls, we got them all at the British Bulldog Pub.
Come on down to the British Bulldog Pub, Harbison in Columbia.
The best seat in the house is not in the stadium, it's at the British Bulldog Pub.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers statewide. Officers must be at least 18 years of age and have a high school diploma or GED. If you have correctional, police, security, or military experience, you can join their team at a promotional rank as a sergeant or lieutenant. Discover a rewarding correctional career with a room for long-term career advancement and a generous employee benefits package that cares for you and your family. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Don't miss this sweet deal from Lakeside Seafood and Steak. Beginning this Friday at 9 a.m., visit 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals to get a $50 gift certificate to Lakeside Seafood and Steak for just $25. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Tuesday here on The Game. Another reminder, the Game Summer Golf Classic at Charwood Golf Club coming up on Friday, August 28th, presented by 107.5 The Game and the Lexington County Gamecock Club. The Gamecock Club will have their famous onion sausage for breakfast that morning. Libations bar provided by Saki's Wine and Spirits. The golf gun makes its return again with all proceeds going to Camp Discovery. $440 for a foursome, $110 for a single player. If you want to take part, give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000. Press the number 2 to sign up. And we look forward to seeing a lot of you out there coming up on Friday, August the 28th. So we're discussing what anonymous coaches had to say about quarterbacks across college football. Again, Lenore Sellers had a couple defensive coordinators weigh in on him there in that last segment. Want to get to some of the quarterbacks that Carolina's going to see this year, starting off with the first SEC quarterback they'll see in Camario Taylor in Week 3. And Chris attributed Wes to being the president of the Camario Taylor fan club. Is that true?
I am the president of the South Carolina Better Be Ready for Camario Taylor club.
So you're the president of the Gassing Up Camario Taylor as a hot commodity club.
I just think that's a dangerous game, man. If you're going to meet the expectations, if you're going to exceed the national expectations for South Carolina this year, and if you're going to meet the internal expectations here in Columbia, I just feel like you got to start the year with a win over Mississippi State. It's at home. It's a situation where you know what's ahead. You know that you play, 9 straight SEC teams, including that one, then Clemson. You got to start the year 3-0, and I think that's such a buzzkill kind of game if you lose it, because people are going to be like, it's the first Mississippi State win in 100 years over a team not called Arkansas, and just I think they're better this year probably than people expect them to be. They bring back a number of people. They have a stud at quarterback. I just feel like that's kind of one of those games where you're not really going to be tested the first 2 weeks if you're Carolina. If you go in thinking this is just another quarterback, then he absolutely can hurt you. He's very similar from a skill set standpoint to Lenore's, and we all know what Lenore's can do when he gets going.
And so 2 SEC defense coordinators weighed in on Camario Taylor. First one says, I don't know if he's panned out or not yet as a true quarterback, but athletically, I think he's special. Another coordinator said he had a really good year for a young guy. He only started 2 games, but he really flashed. He did start the final 2 games last year for Mississippi State, threw for 178 and ran for 173 against Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl, then threw for 240 run and ran for 63 in their bowl game against Wake Forest. So, again, first 2 starts there to kind of get his feet wet, but as you mentioned, a very similar skill set, very similar kind of build as well to Lenore Sellers, and again, that's something that is very dangerous as we know in college football. Now, again, the Levy offenses typically are more of the sling the ball around the yard type of offenses, but this guy has the skills to kill you with his legs as well, so that is going to be something to watch for in week number 3.
Yeah, he's an equalizer, a difference maker, and we were talking about it last hour, Tyler, like Mississippi State, one of their defensive linemen was on the freaks list. Camario Taylor could probably qualify, might be on that thing in the future. They've got a corner who's going to be a high NFL draft pick, probably eventually. This is a team that has talent. Now, does South Carolina on paper have more? Yeah, absolutely. But we've seen, to your point, Wes, Lenore Sellers, the quarterback, the most important position on the field, absolutely being a difference maker for the Gamecocks in some of those games in 2024 with some of the plays that he made. So, Taylor can do some of that for you. Is he as polished of a player as like a Gunnar Stockton, who was mentioned in this piece? And basically the book on him was, not an elite athlete. He might not be an NFL specimen, but he's really smart. He's really accurate. Great college quarterback. Like, you can't put Camario Taylor in that category yet, but what you can say about him is, in the limited action that we've seen, he's got freaky athletic ability. And when you line up against a guy like that as a defensive coordinator, it scares you because you can do everything right, and then he makes you wrong just because of his athletic ability, extending plays, making things happen.
Yeah, I think, by the way, I just had to go back and recheck when you said that, Tyler. They went 1-7 in SEC play and made a bowl.
Yeah,
which is insane to me.
Well, it was the thing. There weren't enough 6 and 6 teams, so they got
you sneak in.
Yeah.
So they went to a bowl, but went 5-8 overall, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, man. I mean, and yeah, you mentioned it earlier. These Levy offenses, they can be high flying, but I've always thought these offenses are a little bit. You look at Heupels at Tennessee, you look at Kiffin's to an extent, and Kendall. There's all like a lot of overlap, and I think these offenses are high flying, but ultimately they do want to run the football, and I think they're a little bit spread to run if you really get down to it. Now, looking at what they did last year, they're without Taylor, which he was the leading rusher for them in both games that he started, 173 and then 63 in the bowl. But you look before he got in there, their leading rusher against Missouri had 34. Leading rusher against Georgia had 53. Arkansas 55. They had a 100-yard rusher in just 3 games last year if you don't include Taylor, like from the actual running back position. So, I think if you're Mississippi State, that's certainly something you're trying to improve, and you're definitely hoping that having that run threat at quarterback, not only like you're really hoping he doesn't have to rush for 170 yards for you to have a running game. It's actually a little bit like South Carolina and Sellers there as well. You're hoping that will open up the rest of your rushing attack. And I think it's a Mississippi State team that will come in probably hungry, probably ready to prove that they have improved as a team since last year. And let's see, they have UL Monroe, and they have at Minnesota, which is kind of an interesting, weird game in week 2. And you also have a very familiar quarterbacks coach at Minnesota.
Who's that?
Do y'all know who it is?
I do not.
It's Mike Shula.
Mike Shula.
Oh, that's where he landed. Okay. Didn't know that.
Yep.
So I guess Mississippi State will actually be a little bit more tested than South Carolina at that point. They will have gone on the road. They will have played a Power 4 opponent. Not the case for the Gamecocks by week 3.
Also, one more note to add to Mississippi State here. Again, we've talked a lot recently about the class of 2022 lawsuit. Yesterday, they're looking to get back their second leading sacker in Malik Sila at edge, and then their leading tackler from a year ago in Jaron Manning. So 2 veterans returning to their defense as well. That's only going to make that team even better for that week 3 matchup.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty interesting. Minnesota, I was trying to remember. Minnesota, 8-5 last year, 5-4 in conference play, played in and won a bowl game.
Can you believe PJ Fleck's been there for like a decade?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the fact that he didn't just jump when his name got hot. I feel like he's a heck of a coach, but he's kind of, has he tapped out? Like, has he hit as high as you can go at Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, could they put together a good year and make the playoffs? Sure. Are they going to become a national championship team? Probably not. So he's probably floating around there, I would say.
Is his name as hot as it once was?
No.
I feel like there was a stretch where his name was like blazing.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, went 11-2 in 2019 there, and that was kind of. But I mean, he's been really good there. He's had 3 losing. I mean, if you count the COVID year, 3-4, whatever. Played 7 games. First year was a losing season. He had a 6-7 campaign. It's kind of sandwiched in there, but he wins 8 or 9 games every year. Had the 11-win season, so it's like. To your point, Wes, maybe he is tapped out. Maybe he should have jumped. Maybe he's good where he's at. I don't know.
Again, anonymous coaches weighing in on SEC quarterbacks. What's the best one South Carolina is going to see this year? We'll discuss that on the other side. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Tuesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
It's true that the Los Angeles Dodgers are the favorite and the deserved favorite to win another World Series championship. But LA still has work to do in this regular season. Despite last night's win and Tarek Skubal's first home start as a Dodger, LA is currently tied with Atlanta and behind Milwaukee in the National League standings. If the season ended today, LA would have to play Philly in the wild card series. LA still has work to do. I'm Nick Costa.
Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better place to be than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. Last week, Boston was trading at 9% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out $1,052 with a win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market. As the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Download the Kalshi app and use code UPDATE to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only, must be present in state where it's legal to trade. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. Bonus credits do not expire. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
When you're planning your next job, options matter. Now in stock at Lowe's, get the roofing brands you trust, including GAF, Owens Corning, and CertainTeed, with more colors to choose from. Shingles and accessories are in stock and ready to go. And when you're on the clock, we help keep you on schedule. Order by 4 p.m. and get next day job site delivery on select items as early as 6:30 a.m. At Lowe's, we have your back on the job. Delivery Monday through Saturday in select zip codes, subject to availability.
All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends over the South Carolina Education Lottery. Did you know since 2002, more than 244,000 lottery-funded scholarships and grants have been awarded to the University of South Carolina students like the Life, the SC Hope, and Palmetto Fellows scholarships. I was one of those people, Tyler. Lottery proceeds have funded millions of scholarships and grants across the state of South Carolina and thousands of school buses to get students to school. Playing the lottery for fun is a win for education and SC. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/educationwins. I would probably not be sitting right here today if not for the South Carolina Education Lottery. So every single time you play, you are helping students like many of those maybe listening to our show right now, like Chris Clark, like myself, not Tyler, he went to Georgia, but everybody else here in the state of South Carolina. Play the SC Education Lottery. For more information, sceducationlottery.com.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at CantyCanFixIt.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it.
Kiddo's Power Equipment is Columbia's home for the tools you need to maintain your turf. But we also take special pride in being the experts you rely on to maintain those tools. Whether your zero-turn or pushmower needs some major TLC or just a basic tune-up to prevent downtime during the busy summer, our expert mechanics obsess over providing you with quality, dependable repairs and maintenance. The grass is going to grow this summer. Let Kiddo's Power Equipment keep you prepared. Come see us today at 4012 West Beltline Boulevard or online at Kiddo'sPowerEquipment.com.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Tyler, Wes, and Chris wrap up the hour here on your Tuesday on the Game. Again, Coach Beamer speaking today at 1 o'clock. We'll have that for you on the halftime show coming up here in just a little bit, as, again, we kind of get into the rhythm of hearing from Beamer every single Tuesday as camp rolls along. And, of course, same thing in season, except for the bye week a little bit later on in the month of October. We've been going through the anonymous quotes on SEC quarterbacks. Again, we hit Sellers there, hit Camario Taylor. 3 other quarterbacks that Carolina will see this year that did have things said about them: Gunnar Stockton, John Mateer at Oklahoma, and let's see, one more here. that I am forgetting about. And then Marcel Reed. So we only got time for one more. Which of these are you more intrigued to hear the anonymous opinions of?
We got time for one. Give me Marcel.
You want Marcel Reed? All right. Here is what an anonymous coach has said about Marcel Reed. The people that have been able to stop the run and play zone defense, he has a hard time against. And then another coordinator added, he still thinks he's a true quarterback, and we want him to keep thinking that way. He doesn't really want to run, but when he does, it's the scariest part. And he is one of the more experienced quarterbacks in all of the SEC going into this year, as he's kind of been a starter for basically a year and a half, as he took over halfway through the 2024 season. Of course, started the game against Carolina when they upset a number 10 team in A&M back here in 2024. So very experienced guy. Again, as the quote kind of said there, looks to pass a little bit more, but is very capable with his feet when he does take off and run.
Yeah, guys, not to bring up very, very poor memories for many people listening to this show right now, but we saw the absolute worst of Marcel Reed, and we saw the absolute best of Marcel Reed all in one day. And, he and A&M didn't have a great showing in the college football playoff, but if I remember correctly, the wins were insane that day. And so neither offense got going. I think that's maybe what a lot of people just naturally maybe have in their head when they think of Marcel Reed. But I like this kid, man. I think there's talent here. The way he rebounded from how poorly the first half went for them against Carolina last year really showed me something. I think that's what's fascinating about the quarterbacks in this league this year, is depending on how you look at it, a guy like Marcel Reed could be, a top 3 quarterback in the SEC, or you could have him as far down as 10 or 11, and nobody's going to think you're crazy. And so, I think you have that with a lot of these guys. To me, you look at some of these players and you're going, okay, are they going to meet their upside? Like if we get the Lenore Sellers second half of 2024, then Sellers is a top 3 quarterback in the league. If we don't, then he quickly gets passed in these rankings by a bunch of guys. So. Like Gunnar Stockton, what do you put your stock in when you are ranking these guys? Is it that he plays the position well, protects the football, doesn't necessarily, you don't care that he doesn't have quite the measurables of some of these other guys, he just wins? Or are you putting your stock more in the playmaker who goes out there and can put a game on his shoulders? So I think it is a fascinating year for quarterbacks in this league, because so many of these kids could go so high or so low. John Mateer, this guy was actually leading the Heisman conversation after about 4 weeks last year. How much did the hand injury affect that? And how much of it is it hey, there are still a lot of things that he's going to have to improve to be the caliber of quarterback that some people maybe already have him as in their mind?
Yeah, the thing that stands out about Reed is the combination of returning experience plus production. And if you look up his A&M bio, guys, one of 8 returning FBS quarterbacks to have 5,000 career passing yards and 1,000+ rushing yards. Just 8. He's one of them. And then one of 9 returning FBS quarterbacks to register 40 passing touchdowns and 14 rushing touchdowns. And John Mateer is on that second list. So if you're South Carolina, congrats, you get to play both of them. So he's just, and I think we saw that, Wes, what you mentioned, being able to rebound. This guy has some juice, some leadership ability, a lot of experience, a lot of production, still kind of maybe flying under the radar relative to some other guys that are around the league. But it's a deep league. It's a deep quarterback league, in 2026.
Yeah, deep quarterback league, and Carolina's going to see a lot of really good ones this year as the season rolls along. Kamario Taylor being the first of those in week number 3. Beamer speaking today at 1 o'clock. Again, we'll react to plenty of that tomorrow. Got some players speaking today as well. We'll see what's said, and also see whatever intel we can get out of camp as the week rolls along as well. But that'll do it for the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Coming up next, halftime show. Myself and Bill Gunner, as your Tuesday continues to roll along here on The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studio.